Chapter 211. Experts turn to be surprised. Under the astonished gaze of that cold man, the golden-colored domed palace hall appeared, covering Yang Chen's entire body inside. The enormous golden seal directly smashed against on top of the domed hall. Spark flickered out, but the domed hall wasn't damaged. "Humph, just relying on one defensive magic weapon, you dare to be so arrogant." After discovering Yang Chen's support, the cold man sneered, his figure suddenly rushed forward, following along the perimeter of the domed hall. Under the control of the cold man, the golden seal rose incessantly and then smashed fiercely on the domed hall again and again. But regardless of how he attacked, the domed hall was like a steel cast, not moving a single jot, there was not even any traces of attack left on it. On the contrary, after continuously smashing down several times, several scratch marks appeared on the golden seal. After discovering this fact, regret appeared in the heart of that cold man. He had spent a lot of time refining this golden seal. If it got damaged like this, then the gains would certainly not make up for the losses. Seeing Yang Chen hold up within the turtle shell gave a headache to the cold man since he couldn't find any method to deal with him. He was a majestic wielding stage expert, but surprisingly, he couldn't deal with a foundation stage youngster with a body-protecting treasure. How could he endure this? Within the 100,000 mountains, he was considered a lofty figure who always kept his word. Could it be that he was going to fail to do so at this Viking mountain? Since Yang Chen was already holed up and he couldn't do anything, so it need not be said that the only choice that the cold man had was to retreat. Since Yang Chen was so confident, then he certainly must have notified the experts of Pyongyang Palace. If he couldn't deal with Yang Chen in a short period of time, then apart from retreating, there wasn't another option. He had dared to behave so atrociously in the sect watched by a Dacheng stage expert, even though the Dacheng stage expert was rumored to have weak cultivation. A Dacheng stage expert was a Dacheng stage expert, not something a Yuning stage expert like him could contend against. Furthermore, the Pyongyang Palace also had several Yuning stage experts. While he was alone, he couldn't simply oppose the entire Pyongyang Palace. While he was contemplating whether to retreat or not, he surprisingly discovered a fatal weakness of the domed hall. The defense of the Great Hall was sufficient, but that Great Hall had openings in 4 directions, so anyone could go in any time. The trick you used was formidable, but it had such a fatal weakness, seems like even the heavens wants you to die. Who could stop your death then? The cold man burst out laughing and hooted these few words before directly entering the Great Hall. Alas! Sitting at the center of the Great Hall, his mind seemed to be controlling the defense of this hall. Seeing the cold man charge in, Yang Chen shook his head in pity and took a long sigh. The heavens provided you a road to life, but you didn't take it. Hell doesn't have any doors yet you burst in. You yourself are courting death, so don't blame other people. Looks like you still don't want to admit your mistake. The cold man sneered, without the least bit of hesitation, he figured directly flew towards Yang Chen. His master had ordered him to capture Yang Chen alive if possible. If he can't, then return with Yang Chen's head. Now, Yang Chen was just sitting on one side, giving the cold man a perfect opportunity to capture himself. For every grievance someone is responsible, for every debt there is a debtor, fellow Taoist, please be on your way. Looked at the figure rushing towards him, a trace of ridicule flashed in his eyes, and he immediately spoke out his catchphrase before killing people. As soon as Yang Chen said these words, the cold man also felt something was wrong. The golden seal which he had already collected back appeared like a huge shield in front of his body. Ding 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 ding, after a series of concentrated collision like a torrential rain, countless nicks appeared on the cold man's golden seal. While at the same time, countless flying sword also appeared behind his body, forcing him to release his own flying sword and obstruct the attack of those flying swords with incomparable difficulty. 7 steps bewitching killing spell, fellow Taoist, if you can break this spell formation, then myself will go with you. Yang Chen remained leisurely seated at the center of the Great Hall, looking at the countless swords crazily attacking the confused cold man. He continued in the same tone. But if fellow Taoist can't break through this spell, then next year, this day will be your death anniversary. 49 flying swords, all of which were highest grade flying sword used by Yuning stage experts. Under the effects of the sword spell, their power had increased crazily. How could the cold man, surrounded within the spell, pay attention to Yang Chen's mocking tone? He'd taken out all his body-protecting magic weapons to protect himself from the swords, but even then, he couldn't completely safeguard himself from the swords and was totally at a loss. Presently, the cold man was repenting. Why was he so greedy and muddle-headed to believe that such a formidable defensive magic weapon had such a fatal flaw? Even if it seemed like a flaw, it was clearly a deadly trap. If he had known about this earlier, then he would have promptly retreated and wouldn't be in such sorry position. Yang Chen also secretly exclaimed in admiration. Actually, under the 7-step bewitching killer spell, this cold man had preserved for the longest time. Naturally, this was because of his cultivation. Previously, among the trapped people, the most powerful ones had a cultivation of Zhanxian stage, so they basically couldn't do anything in front of this sword spell, formed from 49 high-grade swords, used by wielding stage experts, and would immediately die. But now, this person himself was at wielding stage, moreover, he seemed to be late wielding stage, so he had the ability to stop the successive attacks. However, this was all he could do. He had used all his defensive magic weapons, including that golden seal, which was all covered with countless nicks. Few of the low-grade magic weapons were already approaching the point of breaking down. While Yang Chen sighed seeing this, the sound of a flying sword and protective armor breaking echoed in the hall, and both of them immediately turned into pieces. With two less defensive magic weapons, the cold man had even more difficulty in defending his left and right side. In just a moment of carelessness, a flying sword immediately discovered the gap and penetrated his arm. A sharp pain made the cold man yell loudly, and while he was slightly distracted, that golden seal was pierced by series of flying sword, turning it into an enormous seal with holes all over. This golden seal was his most beloved magic weapon, and it was comparable to his destined magic weapon, but after it got damaged by those flying sword, the cold man's spiritual awareness immediately suffered a backlash. Under these dire circumstances, the cold man couldn't do anything to reverse the tide. He had only preserved for 5 more breaths' time when the golden seal was turned into pieces by more than a dozen flying swords. On his side, the cold man didn't have any more formidable weapon which could compare to the golden seal. Despicable. The cold man knew that he had reached his limit. He cursed towards Yang Chen while doing his utmost to endure. Indeed, but not as despicable as a late wielding stage expert coming to deal with a foundation stage youngster like me. Yang Chen sneered. Don't worry and be on your journey, senior. Under the gaze of that cold man, these 49 swords were like blood-hungry wolves flocking around him. Before his body had even fallen on ground, it had already turned into pieces. Seems like I will have to go to 100,000 mountains to settle this issue, once and for all. Yang Chen looked at the ground filled with body parts and called out the 5 Zhanxian stage females cultivating in the Great Hall of the Medicine Garden. With just one thought from him, those females began to clear up the mess and gather the spoils. As for Yang Chen, he began to think the consequences caused by this matter. This time when the enemy had come, he wanted to intimidate Yang Chen and wanted him to serve the enemy in the field of pill concocting. But now, after Yang Chen had killed the late wielding stage expert, there was no room for negotiations in this matter. The enemy would certainly go crazy and retaliate against Yang Chen and the people close to him. If he was the only one to suffer from attacks, then Yang Chen wasn't scared, but he was afraid that something might happen to Gao Yu. Last time, Gao Yu had already suffered injuries at the 100,000 mountains. If she suffered a mishap again because of this incident, then Yang Chen absolutely wouldn't be able to forgive himself. As for today, it was just a scout before the enemy launched a full-scale retaliation attack. In any case, if those guys injured Gao Yu, that wouldn't be a good thing. At that time, Yang Chen was worried about Gao Yu, so he hadn't eliminated the threat completely. But now, it was time to settle this matter once and for all. Other matters could wait, but this one couldn't. Yang Chen immediately began to ponder regarding dealing with these people. Naturally, the most important thing was to inform the sect about this matter so that they could also be on their guard. This wielding stage expert didn't have anything good on himself. That man seemed to have spent a lot of time on the golden seal and allowed it to become as powerful as his destined magic weapon, but it was still not his destined magic weapon, so it being inferior to the sword spell was completely normal. However, the materials refined to make the golden seal were quite rare. Unfortunately, the wielding stage expert's level in refining tools was so-so. Although it could be used to bully those young geniuses, when compared to a genuine high-grade magic weapon, it was extremely inferior. Naturally, the broken golden seal was kept, along with all kinds of magic weapons on his body, and his Qianqin pouch, nothing was left behind, everything was taken. Even his flesh and blood weren't wasted, the blood phantom vine was still very weak, and this kind of expert's blood and flesh was perfect as a supplement. Although the effects weren't very powerful, it was better than nothing. The person from 100,000 mountains. Alice Master Zhang Jiao calmly heard Yang Chen's narration. After a moment, he raised his head. Convene all the elders, then tell them the details of the story. This time, Pure Yang Palace had fallen under the lust of a great power. Moreover, a bloody battle was quite possible. The enemy had been a hegemon in the 100,000 mountains for many years, his strength couldn't be belittled. All the elders had come except was Wang Yong who was refining his destined magic weapon in seclusion. When the elders looked at Yang Chen, they seemed to be slightly surprised. It had just been few days after he had cured Senior Black Tiger's injury, they were wondering what kind of big matter had Yang Chen caused this time. Apart from elders, several hallmasters had also been called. This matter concerned the security of Pyongyang Palace, so naturally, they were thorough. Yang Chen, you tell them about the matter, don't forget any details. Palace Master Zhang Jiao didn't waste any time after seeing that everyone had arrived and directly instructed Yang Chen. Yes, Palace Master. Yang Chen bowed and saluted all the elders, then he began to tell them about this matter from the beginning. Hearing that 25 years ago, when Yang Chen had just reached the foundation stage, together with Shikui and Xia, he had razed the Haoyi mansion at the 100,000 mountain to ground. Moreover, had also destroyed the Devil Flame Valley's auction house and killed the manager and young master, even if the temperament of these elders and hall masters had toughened recently after all these big matters, all of them were astonished. Each and every one of them was stunned and looked at Yang Chen stupefied. Only, the hall master of eccentric hall, Gi Shanyu, wasn't the slightest bit perturbed. This was something he had experienced, so there was no need to make a fuss about it. Filling 4 PQing stage experts of Haoyi Mansion, moreover, returning back with a daching stage expert, Gi Shanyu, doing all of this when he was just at the initial foundation stage. When he reaches Jedan stage or Yuning stage, what kind of accomplishments would he have then? Despite being shocked, they became cautious after hearing Yang Chen's words. If the enemy really turned to the disciples of Pyongyang Palace to fulfill his revenge against Yang Chen, then it would certainly be a disaster. These people of 100,000 mountains shouldn't be taken lightly. Everyone was thinking about this matter, no one said anything. The hallmaster of Law Enforcement Hall, Meng Xian, asked him after some time. Are you certain you killed a late Yuning stage expert? What kind of weapons did he use? Meng Xian couldn't help but be suspicious, even if Yang Chen was very outstanding, he was only at the late foundation stage. Moreover, he had only reached this level recently. Even if this cultivation speed greatly surpassed many people, hearing that Yang Chen had killed a late Yuning stage expert by himself, Meng Xian didn't dare to believe it. Maybe, you were anxious about the battle and had mistaken the enemy's cultivation. Speaking this time was the hallmaster of Luminous Moon Hall, Liang Shaming. During the time he was punished to be in seclusion, Liang Shaming had already planned the cultivation of the flying sword, which would be his destined magic weapon. His cultivation also seemed to become formidable compared to before. Although his voice was calm, it was full of suspicion towards Yang Chen. Yang Chen didn't reply, but took out the golden seal which was in a disaster state and gave it to Meng Xian. After taking the golden seal, Meng Xian was immediately startled and raised his head to look at Yang Chen with some astonishment in his eyes, only then did he lower his head and begin to observe the golden seal properly. This golden seal couldn't be refined by ordinary people, also, not everyone could use it. It was different from the sword spell in Yang Chen's domed hall. The sword spell could used anytime as long as the medicine garden had sufficient spirit power. But this golden seal required an expert to control it. If one isn't at Yuning stage, then he could forget about controlling it. After Meng Xian had looked over it, he passed it to Palace Master Zhang Jiao. Soon after, all of them observed it once and each and everyone's gazes changed after observing it. How many formidable flying sword did Yang Chen use to destroy the golden seal to such a state? This was the first time Yang Chen had revealed a bit of his strength in front of all the elders and Palace Master, and all of them were looking at Yang Chen in shock. Naturally, they had another expression. All of them could see that the material used to make this golden seal was certainly not ordinary. The golden seal had been damaged to this state because of the disparity in level of tool refining, however, the material used was extremely precious. It was a guarantee that anyone who possessed this golden seal could make a high-grade flying sword from it. Unfortunately, this golden seal was Yang Chen's loot. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 212 Worth or not worth fighting for? Many years ago, there had been a debate in Pyongyang Palace about the ownership of treasures found by disciples. That time, it was decided that any treasure found by a disciple would belong to him. This golden seal was Yang Chen's spoil of war, so naturally, it belonged in Yang Chen's pouch. It would be impossible for others to snatch it forcefully, even if they wanted to. The only method was to find some way to purchase it or obtain it from Yang Chen according to his wishes. In comparison, it would be simpler to use the last two methods, since it was impossible to forcefully snatch it from Yang Chen. After all, Yang Chen had a lot of treasures, and he had fire-attributed spirit root, so he wouldn't care much about a metal-attributed tool refining material. This could be taken up later, as presently, the priority for the sect's elders was the matter of 100,000 mountains. Soon, everyone's attention returned back from the affair of Yang Chen, killing a Yuning stage expert to discussing the necessary countermeasures. If the people of 100,000 Mountain publicly declare war against our Pyongyang Palace, then we will not rest until they are all dead. The first person to open his mouth was Lin Yunfeng, who clearly stated his position. Moreover, they were the ones who had attacked the disciple of my Pure Yang Palace first, so reasonable justification is also not on their side. Additionally, we must send the message that any outsider cannot costly bully our disciples. Although the people of Pure Yang Palace were not usually tyrannical, when facing this type of matter, the first thought of the majority of the people would be to defend the interests of sect's disciples. Even Elder Lin Yunfeng, who looked unfavorably on Yang Chen, was of the same mind. His grudge was his own personal business, but outsiders bullying the disciples of their sect would absolutely not be forgiven. Yes, not only had those people broken the rule of their own auction house and attacked the disciple of our sect first, they had also dared to try and kill a disciple of my Pure Yang Palace at Myking Mountain. Do they really think that we will not retaliate? Immediately another elder continued in a righteous tone. Right now, we are not certain of how the 100,000 mountain would react. If we start declaring mortal enemies like this, then we would invite the ridicule of others for no reason. Said another elder. Let's not take any action for the time being and see how the enemy responds. 100,000 mountain had broken their own rules, naturally, they will also have other such debts. So temporarily, they certainly won't dare to take any large-scale action against our Pure Yang Palace. Said Foreign Affairs Hall's Hallmaster Zhanxian. Myking Mountain is not 100,000 mountain, if they come to our territory to attack, the other sects and schools will also not tolerate it, so there is no need to panic. They broke their own rules and attacked the disciples of my sect first, we should not let them off lightly. However, when Yang Chen had killed their manager and young master, that was excessive. Liang Shaming immediately opened his mouth. So they also sent people to kill Yang Chen, thus it should even out now. What do you mean? After reaching Yuning stage, Medicine Hall's Hallmaster Zhu Chentao's confidence had increased greatly. Hearing Liang Shaming's words, he immediately furrowed his brows. Since they had attacked using the reason of vengeance and hadn't affected any other people of the sect, then how can we all interfere? Liang Shaming glanced at the Yang Chen, the only one standing in the room, and then turned towards Zhu Chentao and continued. Since they insist on saying that this is a private matter between them, then it won't be good for the whole sect to interfere. They attacked the disciple of my sect first, how can it be equaled out with just losing 2 lives? Zhu Chentao coldly snorted. This time again, they entered my Myking Mountain, do you think that at the places of my Pure Yang Palace which aren't habited, anyone who wants to run amok can do so casually? Naturally, the people of 100,000 mountains cannot get away with it, as long as a suitable opportunity arises, then naturally we must teach them a lesson. However, Liang Shaming said using a virtuous cause, but his gaze again turned towards Yang Chen. But, is it the sect's intention to form enmity with 100,000 mountains? Do you think the disciples of Pure Yang Palace should allow all outsiders to plot against them? Yang Chen was furious, but before he could say anything, Zhu Chentao had already started speaking. What do you mean by these words? I mean that after all is said and done, Gao Yu had gone to find materials to make a flying sword for her own disciple when she got attacked, and later, Yang Chen went to quarrel with them. Obviously, Liang Shaming was targeting Yang Chen, he sneered. It is a private affair of these master and disciple, so why must they insist on dragging my sect into it, and even if my sect personally steps in to save them, then they also shouldn't be let off lightly and must be disciplined by the sect. Otherwise, in the future, others will keep causing trouble when outside the sect, who will uphold the sect's rule. Liang Shaming meant that the sect should assist Yang Chen and Gao Yu in enduring the pressure from outside, but within the sect, they should be punished. Uncle Master Liang, when Master went to find the materials for flying sword, it was under the orders of Palace Master. Standing opposite to him, Yang Chen replied being neither servile nor overbearing. Could it be that Uncle Master Liang forgot that Palace Master had personally bestowed me with a flying sword? When bestowing a flying sword to a foundation stage disciple, why must she insist on using such high-grade materials? Liang Shaming slowly said. Did the Palace Master say that such a high-grade flying sword must be rewarded? Good words, thanks for teaching me Uncle Master Liang. An angry smile appeared on Yang Chen's face, looking straight at Liang Shaming, he asked. Palace Master also didn't say to not bestow such a high-grade flying sword. However, this also couldn't be retorted against. Palace Master Zhang Jiao had indeed conferred a flying sword on Yang Chen, but everyone had thought that it would be a normal flying sword. As long as it is of fire attribute, it would be good. But, it was completely out of their expectation that Gao Yu would be willing to pay such price for Yang Chen's flying sword. However, Liang Shaming also couldn't say anything, if he continued to pursue this question, then he may end up offending Palace Master Zhang Jiao. Previously, Palace Master's authority was weak, so he had to keep cordial relations with Lin Yunfeng and the other elders, so they could easily sway Palace Master Zhang Jiao's decision. But now, it was not the same, Wang Yong's strength had been greatly increased, his cultivation exceeded everyone. Furthermore, there was also the daching stage expert Yi Shanyu, in addition to the successive accomplishments of Yang Chen. All these things had allowed Pure Yang Palace's strength to increase greatly, allowing Palace Master's prestige to swell. Even Lin Yunfeng didn't dare to easily contradict him now, needless to say of Liang Shaming. No need to discuss this matter anymore. The 100,000 Mountain had attacked first, so it is their offense. Sure enough, Palace Master Zhang Jiao shot a glance towards Liang Shaming and lightly gave the explanation. If it had been anyone else among you, then my decision would also have been the same. Regardless of whatever the cause is, we had followed the rules and gone to purchase something, but they attacked, so obviously, they are at fault. Surely, Liang Shaming didn't dare to say anything and could only ruthlessly stare at Yang Chen. In these few years, Yang Chen had left his mark, causing Liang Shaming's resentment towards him to increase. He was even thinking of personally teach him a lesson. But, after hearing today that Yang Chen had surprisingly dealt with a Yuning stage expert alone, he was restrained due to fear. Yang Chen, what do you think we should do? After giving his decision, Palace Master Zhang Jiao immediately turned to Yang Chen and asked. Disciple wants to know, if the power behind 100,000 mountains falls, could my sect control the 100,000 mountains? Yang Chen didn't speak for some time, but when he opened his mouth, he immediately gave a fright to everyone present. The upper echelons of Pure Yang Palace were all aware that this disciple Yang Chen doesn't lie. He only speaks when he has 100% guarantee that he could achieve his objective. But even then, hearing about controlling 100,000 mountain from behind the scenes astonished everyone present on the scene, including Liang Shaming. Liang Shaming was just pushed down by Palace Master Zhang Jiao, but hearing Yang Chen's words gave him a great fright. 100,000 mountains, that famous dangerous region, Dao cultivators, devil cultivators and demon cultivators, all gathered there. Even Yuning stage experts would also have to be greatly cautious here. Not to mention other things, just the fact that even a formidable expert like Old Tree Demon was silently staying there clearly showed the fearfulness of the place. That power behind the auction house controlled the majority of such a dangerous region. But now, Yang Chen suddenly asked whether Pure Yang Palace could control the 100,000 mountain or not. This was simply a big joke. Ridiculous. After discovering that he had almost jumped because of fright and lost his cool, Liang Shaming immediately yelled towards Yang Chen, as if trying to remove his own embarrassment by lashing out at Yang Chen. Too arrogant. Although Liang Shaming had loudly yelled in front of everyone, moreover, everyone also knew what he thought of Yang Chen. This time, no one felt that Liang Shaming had said anything inappropriate. How can a place like 100,000 mountains be so easy to control? Even though it lacked spirit power, it had abundant natural resources. In the past, for so many years, no Dao sect had the idea to control it, even the sects like Greatest Heaven sect or Five Phases sect was the same. Didn't this clearly illustrate the problem? Not to mention other things, just the position of this place was greatly troublesome. Being at the boundary of regions controlled by all three powers including Dao sects, Devil sects and Demon race, it was also quite distant from all the sects. Any Yuning stage expert who doesn't have magic weapons like Yang Chen and Wang Yong, which could boost speed, would take at least 1 month's time for a one-way journey. So if some problem arises, the experts of the sects may not be able to arrive timely. Moreover, the power structure of this place was also quite complex, so only a few Yuning stage experts certainly couldn't subdue everyone. Even Hao Yi Manor, which had 4 peak stage Yuning experts, had to rely on the power behind the auction house and curry favor with the clan's young master to live comfortably. Originally, after taking everything into account, Pure Yang Palace only had 8 Yuning stage experts. Even if they included a formidable expert like Yi Shanyu, Shi Kui and Xie Sha, also adding in Zhu Chentao, who had recently reached Yuning stage, the Pure Yang Palace only had 1 Daching stage expert and 11 Yuning stage expert. Even if they used their full strength to fight, they could at most control a small corner in the 100,000 mountains. As for controlling the whole 100,000 mountain, that was just a dream within a dream. Besides, before thinking about anything else, there was also the power behind auction house, which won't be destroyed so easily. Yang Chen's words indeed were quite unreasonable. You tell me, what happens if we can control it or what happens if we can't? Palace Master Zhang Jiao thought to himself, Yang Chen certainly wouldn't speak without thinking. Since he spoke before all the elders and other people, he certainly must have a plan. If we can control it, then we will have an easy time sharing the profit. Yang Chen faintly smiled. If we cannot, then we have no choice but to lose some profit and act together joining hands with other big sects. He spoke clearly, if they can, then they could hog everything to themselves. If they can't, then they would have to find some people and act together. But right now, the people of 100,000 mountains hadn't suffered any great loss, so Yang Chen's words had put everyone at a loss. These words were indeed true and made Palace Master Zhang Jiao sink into deeper contemplation. The silence within the hall, which lasted for a long time, was broken when Zhanxian asked. Yang Chen, how do you intend to deal with people of 100,000 mountains? To gather experts and exterminate them. Yang Chen replied without any hesitation. This was again an unreal reply, almost everyone present on the scene believed so. It's not like people hadn't tried to research the mastermind behind 100,000 mountains, those Tao, devil and demon cultivators who wanted to dominate the 100,000 mountains, all believed that it wasn't possible without at least 2 mid-stage daching experts. This was the minimum requirement, but looking at the stability in 100,000 mountains for so long, where even any big sect hadn't tried to dip their finger in the pie, it was clear maybe they were even more difficult to deal with. Yang Chen's unexpected words to find experts and exterminate them simply seemed to be a joke. Moreover, it also wasn't like daching stage experts would so easily agree to exterminate people. Furthermore, if 2 or 3 daching stage expert of the same side wants to kill another expert of the same stage who was focused on escaping, then killing him also wasn't easy. When Palace Master Zhang Jiao and others thought about it, they realized that perhaps Yang Chen really had some assurance in gathering experts. Gi Shanyu of Pure Yang Palace, Senior Black Tiger of Beast Taming Sect, Elder Hua Wanting of Clear Sky School, they were all people who could be considered to be owing a favor to Yang Chen. So agreeing to attack once shouldn't be a big problem. But exterminating the enemy would be greatly difficult for these people too. Driving them away was easy, but who knows when those people would try to make a comeback. It was also impossible for Yang Chen to make these daching experts stay at 100,000 mountains the entire time. This caused the Palace Master Zhang Jiao to have some embarrassment. But in front of so many people, he also couldn't ask Yang Chen for the details. Moreover, he also knew that even if he asked, Yang Chen may not reply properly. With Liang Shaming present on the scene, Yang Chen would certainly not reveal all his cards. At the same time, Palace Master Zhang Jiao began to get fidgety. This Liang Shaming was always trying to enter the power struggle all the time. Last time, he colluded with Helianian, who was the disciple of Luminous Moon Hall. He couldn't even control a little Luminous Moon Hall properly. Maybe it's about time to find a new candidate for the position of Hallmaster of Luminous Moon Hall. This was the second time Palace Master Zhang Jiao had this thought, but he didn't say anything. He didn't want to alert those traitors within Pure Yang Palace. Once he thought that the greatest heaven sect had surprisingly arranged who knows how many people for how long within his sect, Palace Master Zhang Jiao couldn't help but become furious. But after all was said and done, it was still because of the fact that Pure Yang Palace lacked strength. Its influence was insufficient. If they had the strength comparable to a big sect like Five Phases sect, then how would Greatest Heaven sect dare to be so brazen? Presently, Yang Chen's proposal seemed to be a good opportunity to make friendly relations with few other big sects. As for what kind of friendly relations, becoming brothers was good. Connecting by marriage was also good, but what could be more reliable than forming a bond for the interest of both parties? Once he reached this conclusion, Palace Master Zhang Jiao kept on looking at the argument between the people in front of him without saying anything. But in his mind, he began to strategize to get sufficient bargaining chips in this huge meat pie. Humph, keep daydreaming. Regarding Yang Chen's plan of exterminating the enemy, Liang Shaming directly gave this evaluation. Although others didn't say anything, they also had the same opinion. If it was really so easy, then how could 100,000 mountain remain stable for a whole millennium? He isn't indulging in fantasy, he only asked if we can seize the 100,000 mountain and whether it will be worth joining hands with other big sects. However, Zhu Chentao remained on Yang Chen's side, replying Liang Shaming. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 213. The elixir is called Heart Questioning Pill. If we can hold it, then naturally it's worth it. Zhanxian nodded without any hesitation, everyone present agreed with his words, even Liang Shaming also consented. Although the 100,000 mountain lacked spirit power, it was rich in resources. Who wouldn't covet those large number of natural resources? If they could hold it, who didn't know what the benefits would be? The problem is whether we can hold it or not. Liang Shaming immediately retorted. Relying on whom? Relying on just us. Or adding in experts from other sects. How many daching experts can we have? Once Liang Shaming said those words, it immediately raised a thought in the mind of all the elders. Yang Chen had gone into seclusion for concocting pills for beast taming sect Senior Black Tiger, so it was said that Senior Black Tiger promised Yang Chen a favor. Together with Hua Wanting of Clear Sky School and Gi Shanyu, there would be a total of 3 daching stage experts. Since Senior Black Tiger and Elder Hua Wanting had agreed, naturally the sects behind them wouldn't also sit quietly, just the Clear Sky School itself could not be looked down upon. If these 3 powers form an alliance, then maybe there was some chance. Disciple had once obtained a certain pill recipe by accident. Yang Chen slowly continued. Using certain year-matured ingredients, an elixir known as heart-questioning pill can be refined. Heart-questioning pill. Zhu Chentao was the hallmaster of medicine hall, so he was obsessed towards pill concocting. After hearing Yang Chen had some new kind of elixir, he impatiently asked. What kind of elixir is this? What use does it have? Not only Zhu Chentao, other people also raised their ears and looked at Yang Chen. Since he had mentioned the heart-questioning pill at this time, then it was certainly in relation to the matter regarding 100,000 mountain, so everyone couldn't help but value it. This heart-questioning pill isn't of any great use. Yang Chen satisfied everyone's appetite and calmly said. At the time of making a breakthrough, when confusion arises in the heart, this heart-questioning pill will ensure that devils from outside won't invade, and it would just depend on your heart, thus increasing the chances of the breakthrough. Hiss. Yang Chen had explained it lightly, but each and everyone who heard it couldn't help but take a deep breath. Outer devils couldn't invade and just depend on your heart, what kind of object was this, and he still says it doesn't have much use. When someone tried to reach daching stage from Yuning stage or some daching expert has to ascend, there was endless confusion in the heart. If this pill was taken at that time, wouldn't it greatly increase the chances of succeeding? What was the most difficult problem after reaching a bottleneck? Wasn't it the invasion of heart's devil since the Tao heart wasn't stable? So was this pill something which doesn't have much use? The requirements for making this heart-questioning pill is extremely high and requires at least 10,000 years matured legendary herbs. Seeing that everyone had become distracted, Yang Chen waited for a good while for everyone to accept it, only then he continued. Although it can also be used for cultivators below daching stage, it really wasn't worth it. Frankly speaking, this pill was for the use of daching experts, especially at the time of breakthrough, so it could be said to be of the same grade as heaven-seizing pill. But compared to the heaven-seizing pill, the heart-questioning pill had a great extent of applicability, at least after daching experts use it, they won't have to continuously endure the medicinal power and won't cause their bodies to explode, leading to death. Naturally, people like Yang Chen who were extremely rich could also use it when they were at foundation stage or Jidan stage. But the requirement of 10,000 years matured legendary herbs was really too high and absolutely couldn't be supported by an ordinary foundation or Jidan stage cultivator. As for Yuning experts, even their flesh would ache. However, for Yang Chen, this wasn't a big problem. He had only recalled this heart-questioning pill when he and Zhanxian had discovered those legendary herbs. This pill, how much assurance do you have in making it? Alice Master Zhang Jiao timely asked the question which was in everyone's mind. With sufficient ingredients, this disciple has 70% assurance. Yang Chen made a rough estimation and gave a number which everyone could accept. But in reality, as long as Yang Chen had sufficient ingredients, there wouldn't be any problem. 10,000 years matured legendary herbs, they aren't so easy to acquire. Zhu Chentao creased his brows. He definitely didn't have any doubt regarding Yang Chen's pill concocting level. Even until now, he always had the attitude of a student in front of Yang Chen. Zhu Chentao's words also gave a voice to the problem in everyone's heart. If it was just 1,000-year matured herbs, then they could still be acquired with difficulty, but as for 10,000 years matured legendary herbs, the difficulty to acquire them rises by 100-fold. Previously, when Disciple had gone out to gain experiences with Fairy Shy of Green Jade Immortal Island, Disciple was fortunate enough to come across some herbs which could be used. Just when everyone was scratching their head, Yang Chen immediately gave an answer which stunned everyone. Refining a furnace of heart-questioning pills shouldn't be a problem. Hearing this, everyone's pupils shrunk. No one asked what he meant by a furnace of heart-questioning pill, but looking at Yang Chen's appearance, they were certain that it was not one or two pills. If one heart-questioning pill meant the support of one daching expert, doesn't that mean that using just one furnace of heart-questioning pill, Yang Chen could gain the support of more than 10 daching experts? 10 daching experts, added together with the ones who owed Yang Chen a favor, would mean almost half of the total number of daching expert present within all the Dao sects. In front of this kind of force, not to mention 100,000 mountain, even greatest heaven sect would have to stake all their resources together with the lives of all of their daching stage experts to barely avoid extermination. So didn't this mean that destroying those people of 100,000 mountain was already in the bag? When everyone present reached this conclusion, their heart became lively, seemingly the first question which Yang Chen had asked was not that stupid. Whether the Pure Yang Palace could or could not hold the 100,000 mountain after conquering it. Everyone began to think about this question. Now they weren't discussing the feasibility of conquering it, rather were genuinely thinking about making the arrangement to gobble up the great wealth of 100,000 mountain in their purse. If the Pure Yang Palace could really hold the 100,000 mountain, then the Pure Yang Palace would surely earn great wealth. As long as they do it properly, everyone had the confidence that within 100 years, the Pure Yang Palace would certainly become a first-rate sect. Everyone's heart began to pound with a vision of the future whose hope had arrived this instant. Looking at Yang Chen, everyone felt that they had really obtained a great treasure. Once the heart-questioning pill came out, what about heaven-seizing pills controversy, it would be thrown to one side. As long as they dominate the pill recipe and refining method, Yang Chen could walk anywhere within the cultivator's world without any fear. Anyone who dared to offend Yang Chen would also indirectly offend all the daching experts who required a heart-questioning pill, as well as those formidable experts who had the financial resources to pay the price of a heart-questioning pill. When that time comes, who would dare to threaten Yang Chen, even the people of Pure Yang Palace wouldn't quarrel with him lightly. Fantasy was always beautiful, but when returning to reality, they couldn't help but lose hope. It had to be said that the dreams of higher echelons of Pure Yang Palace were indeed slightly mistaken, even if they could conquer 100,000 Mountain, they would still be unable to hold it. This was the regret of all small sects, everyone present had to accept this fact. It seems that there was only one method, that was to collaborate with few big sects and share the profits. Actually, the benefits of the 100,000 Mountain were so huge that even a big sect would be unable to keep everything to itself. After everyone thought about this fact for some time, they felt great relief in their heart, since the fact that even a big sect couldn't handle this matter, so if Pure Yang Palace wasn't able to do it, then also it was not something for which they would lose face. After realizing this point, it was time to think about the sects with which they would form an alliance with. This matter had to be considered very carefully. Which sect to accept and which to reject, this was Pure Yang Palace's own decision. Moreover, the selected sects must also use their full power, otherwise why should they receive a portion of benefit? If that happens, then the pressure on Pure Yang Palace would decrease greatly, at least the heart-questioning pills could be provided to the experts of those sects. At this instant, even Liang Shaming's eyes were shining brightly. If he could obtain one heart-questioning pill refined by Yang Chen for himself, then couldn't he immediately make a breakthrough from the peak of Jidan's stage and reach Yuning's stage? At this moment, Yang Chen didn't say anything and kept on calmly standing in front of them. Yang Chen also couldn't do anything about this matter and would still require the palace master and elders to make a decision. Green Jade Immortal Islands had always wanted to form an alliance with my sect, this time, we might as well have a chat with them. One elder said, but while speaking his gaze turned to Yang Chen with a bitter smile. Hearing this, everyone gave him a knowing smile. The matter of Zhanxian becoming a Tao companion of Yang Chen was something that most elders agreed with to obtain the support of Green Jade Immortal Islands. However, now they can also form the ties depending on profit and take their cooperation to next level. So when the time comes, even if Yang Chen really doesn't want to become Tao companions, it would still not go as far as to Pure Yang Palace and Green Jade Immortal Islands becoming hostile with each other. Clear Sky School could also be considered as an option. When the palace master opened his mouth, he also had a similar smile on his face. Yang Chen understood that this was related to Sun Qingxu. However, he didn't say anything. If he could really resolve the matter of both females with this matter, then that would be the best outcome. Actually, when Yang Chen spoke about the heart-questioning pill, the vast sea and sky opened in front of everyone's eyes. Accept whose cooperation and reject whose, it all depended upon Pure Yang Palace's own decision. Greatest Heaven Sect's strength is great, and it also handles all outside matters fairly, shouldn't we include them also in the cooperation? After Palace Master Zhang Jiao had spoken, Liang Shaming also gave his suggestion. Strength being great is acceptable, but they handle outside matters fairly, how can you even say that? Law Enforcement Hall's Hallmaster Meng Xian immediately retorted. During the past 10 years, Law Enforcement Hall had been unable to find any of the traitors planted by the Greatest Heaven Sect, which made Meng Xian furious, so now seeing Liang Shaming surprisingly mention Greatest Heaven Sect, how can he not release his anger? During the matter of Desolate Valley, how did Greatest Heaven Sect's attitude seemed fair to you? Or could it be that since they sheltered your traitorous disciple Chu Heng, that's why you think they are fair and just? You. Liang Shaming couldn't speak more than one word, he had mentioned them with selfish motives, but hadn't expected that Hallmaster Meng Xian would refute so fiercely. Not only Meng Xian, even Palace Master Zhang Jiao looked at Liang Shaming with disgust hidden deep within his eyes. Everyone was aware that Liang Shaming had some friends in the Greatest Heaven Sect, but talking drivel in this kind of situation was just a joke. In any case, this had made Palace Master Zhang Jiao and Hallmaster Meng Xian place serious suspicion on Liang Shaming. It was not like both of them hadn't doubted Liang Shaming when finding the hidden traitor within the sect. But afterwards, both of them felt that Liang Shaming was the Hallmaster of Luminous Moon Hall and would be an elder of Pure Yang Palace in the future, so why would he lower himself to rely on Greatest Heaven Sect's charity? Therefore, their suspicion towards Liang Shaming had weakened greatly. At most, they felt that because of his disciple Chu Heng's matter, he didn't look favorably on Yang Chen. Last time was Liang Shaming's first offense, but now, Liang Shaming had surprisingly spared no effort to speak on Greatest Heaven Sect's behalf. How could this be a good sign? So the future investigation had to be shifted towards Liang Shaming. In fact, by sheltering a traitor of Pure Yang Palace and using their disciples to attack Yang Chen, they proved themselves to be the sect's enemies. Furthermore, deploying a secret piece in the sect, even after all these actions, if the palace master Zhang Jiao still consents to cooperate with Greatest Heaven Sect, then he shouldn't have become the palace master in the first place. Although the other elders didn't know about such complications, they also agreed with Meng Xian's words. Greatest Heaven Sect's actions towards Five Phases Sect had already caused the other big sects to become resentful towards them. If they really want to walk with Greatest Heaven Sect, then maybe the Green Jade Immortal Islands and the Clear Sky School wouldn't agree so easily. In the extreme case, it might also destroy the relationship of Pure Yang Palace with these two sects. In fact, after forming alliance with Green Jade Immortal Islands and Clear Sky School, these two big sects, the Palace Master could also draw on Beast Taming Sect. With two first-rate sects and two second-rate sects, controlling 100,000 wouldn't be difficult. However, these kinds of benefits would certainly give rise to other people's greed. After discussion the topic with everyone, it was concluded that they must also rope in the Rogue Cultivators Alliance. Thus, everything was arranged properly. Naturally, the premise of all this was the destruction of everyone at 100,000 mountains, and the most crucial thing was the time required to refine Yang Chen's heart-questioning pill. After getting hold of 100,000 mountains, in the future, we will require some rules to administer it. This was Palace Master Zhang Jiao's other decision. How will the benefits be divided, whether to allow the devil and demon cultivators, whether to let demon clan and devil sects to join it, all these would require discussion between all parties. Everyone consented to this point because after all was said and done, the time of discussion with all parties would still depend on Yang Chen. It seems like we would again have to trouble you, Yang Chen, to refine the heart-questioning pill. Palace Master Zhang Jiao faintly smiled towards Yang Chen. Since the ingredients are all gathered, how much time would you require in pill concocting? If Uncle Master Zhu helps. Yang Chen made a rough estimation. 2 years would be enough, I think. This pill isn't difficult to refine. Good. Palace Master Zhang Jiao replied without any hesitation. You put your mind to pill concocting. I know your cultivation requires flames. From tomorrow, the sect will dispatch disciples to secure flames for you. You will also obtain 100,000 sect contribution points. Moreover, you will also get another chance to enter sect's secret pavilion. If you have any other requirements, just mention without any hesitation. Just refine the heart-questioning pill within 2 years. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 214 Great Harvest. Wait a moment. When Yang Chen was just about to reply, Liang Shaming interrupted him. As everyone confusingly turned towards him, he asked. The heart-questioning pill refined by Yang Chen, will they belong to Yang Chen or to the sect? The ingredients are provided by Yang Chen, the refining is done by Yang Chen, so naturally, the pills will belong to Yang Chen. Zhu Chentao shot a glance towards Yang Chen and confusingly asked. Could it be that Hallmaster Liang feels that they should belong to the sect? Since my sect gave him so many rewards, naturally, they must belong to the sect. Obviously, Liang Shaming wasn't willing to let the heart-questioning pills belong to Yang Chen. If they belonged to the sect, then using his identity, he still had some chance to obtain a pill. Maybe with this one pill, he could enter the Yuaning stage, so he couldn't help but make these selfish schemes. What about the profits of 100,000 mountain, are they not enough for the sect to give rewards? Zhu Chentao sneered. How could he not see what Liang Shaming's intentions were? It is still unknown how many pills he can refine, so what use is there to discuss about these matters right now? Palace Master Zhang Jiao kept up his calm face and shot a glance at Liang Shaming, then he continued. It would be difficult to gain the support of a daching expert to attack 100,000 mountain with just one heart-questioning pill, and we require the support of at least 5 experts. With 2 pills for each person, that would be 10 pills in total. Yang Chen, you concoct the pills, as for the extra pills, you can keep them for yourself. Although he had dominatingly ordered Yang Chen to give 10 pills, Yang Chen didn't have any problems with following this. This was a method proposed by him and looking at the big picture, it would also resolve many of Yang Chen's troubles. Disciple will do as ordered. Yang Chen loudly agreed and was just about to leave when his gaze swept across Liang Shaming, he suddenly turned and said. Disciple would still have to rely on Palace Master to assure the safety of Disciple's master. Be at ease. Palace Master Zhang Jiao agreed. Apprentice Brother Wang is just about to come out of seclusion. I will arrange for your master to live near Apprentice Brother Wang's seclusion place. Furthermore, I will also ask Shai Kui and Xie of the eccentric hall to guard your master. You shouldn't worry and concentrate on pill concocting. Since the enemy could find Yang Chen's location, naturally, they also knew how important his master, Gao Yu, was to him. This wasn't any secret at Pure Yang Palace. Regardless of whatever malicious things you say about Yang Chen, he would just laugh it off. But if someone dares to speak wrongly about Gao Yu, Yang Chen would hunt and kill him 1,000 times. Moreover, Gao Yu herself was one of the people involved in the matter regarding 100,000 mountains. It was quite possible that those people would similarly retaliate against her. Therefore, Yang Chen's concerns weren't completely unfounded. Palace Master Zhang Jiao had also thought about this matter and made this arrangement. Liang Shaming's plans to obtain a heart-questioning pill had failed because of Palace Master Zhang Jiao's words, but he didn't dare to utter even a single word. Everything was planned by Yang Chen, the ingredients belonged to Yang Chen, the refining was also done by Yang Chen, hence, providing 10 pills to the sect was more than enough. Furthermore, the sect would still obtain the profits of 100,000 mountains. Such a big matter would require great preparation from Pure Yang Palace in all fields like manpower, resources, and allies. Although Yang Chen still hadn't begun the refining of the heart-questioning pills, some information about it needed to be spread. This was so that when the time comes, the experts of the ally sects don't become unavailable by going into seclusion or for other similar reasons. In short, the time when Yang Chen completes the pill concocting should be the time by which the sect's preparations were finished. Therefore, all of them begun to get busy. Pure Yang Palace immediately postponed many missions and began to use the sect's contribution points to exchange for different grades of flames. The rewards were ample, arousing the interest of countless people. As long as one was a fire-attributed cultivator, he would have to use a flame. But not all fire-attributed cultivators were so fortunate and could find flames like real sun fire or real moon fire. Even Yang Chen's master, Gao Yu, also only had a purple heart fire, which was comparable to Yang Chen's geocentric fire. For the majority of the people, let alone geocentric fire, they would be lucky if they could obtain a first-grade or second-grade flame. The issue of Yang Chen requiring flames wasn't raised by Yang Chen, but rather by Zhu Chentao. When Zhu Chentao saw that Yang Chen's profound spirit furnace could be upgraded by absorbing different types of flames, he immediately noted it in his mind. No wonder, Yang Chen had previously said that he would exchange the heaven-seizing pill recipe for a flame. This profound spirit furnace was obtained by Zhu Chentao by accident, which he later gifted to Yang Chen. Zhu Chentao had Elian's furnace, so he wasn't envious of Yang Chen's profound spirit furnace. On the contrary, he even mentioned this to Palace Master once. This time, the Palace Master also seized the opportunity to obtain some benefits for Yang Chen to start this magnificent occasion. Usually, the sect's contribution points were very rarely awarded, causing each and every one of the thousands of disciples to drool over them. Those who had obtained a flame but hadn't used it all immediately exchanged it for contribution points. Those contribution points could be exchanged for spirit stones or perhaps other products of the sect whose value far exceeded that of a simple flame. Even those who had used the flame exchanged it for contribution points. Later, when the opportunity arises, they could obtain a similar flame based on market value, which only required some time to be spent. Moreover, the sooner the flames were exchanged, the higher the contribution points awarded. Everyone had similar ideas and within a short 10 days, the sect had already collected 50 first-grade flames and more than 20 second-grade flames. When Yang Chen and Zhu Chentao entered Yang Chen's refining room again, Zhu Chentao immediately produced the flames obtained. These almost 80 flames made Yang Chen extremely happy. The woodcutter must sharpen his axe before chopping logs. Yang Chen wasn't polite and immediately began to use the profound spirit furnace to absorb the flames. The profound spirit furnace, which had already reached a very high grade and had absorbed high-grade flames like real sun fire and real moon fire without any pressure, began to absorb these low-grade flames at lightning speed. 3 first-grade flames or 2 second-grade flames in a day. Within one short month, Yang Chen's profound spirit furnace had already absorbed all the flames completely. Speaking of this, the profound spirit furnace had already absorbed many types of high-grade flames, but hadn't absorbed many low-grade flames. This batch of flames was full of low-grade flames, and although the individual flames in the batch didn't raise the grade of the profound spirit furnace as effectively as real sun fire or real moon fire, several tens of flames were enough to increase it by 1 grade. Yang Chen also refined 1/10 of the profound green metal crystal this time, enriching the profound spirit furnace even more. Within a month, the profound spirit furnace had once again been reborn. Not only had its grade increased with the addition of profound green metal crystal, Its structure had become even more robust, and its capability to endure the pressure of flames had increased substantially. Because the profound spirit furnace could now control a large number of flames, his control over different flames during the pill concocting process became even more perfect. This was another great advantage. Holding the profound spirit furnace, Yang Chen didn't want to part with it. After using the universal treasure-raising secrets once, Yang Chen finally began to cooperate with Zhu Chentao and entered seclusion to refine pills. This time again, Zhu Chentao's disciple and Yang Chen's former servant, Holin, was waiting upon them. But, the only difference compared to last time was that from start to finish, Zhu Chentao and Holin were only spectators. From purifying the ingredients to refining the elixir, everything was done by Yang Chen alone. Frankly speaking, when Yang Chen was concocting pills, he allowed Zhu Chentao and Holin to learn as much as possible. Although Zhu Chentao was already a Yuning stage expert on the road of pill concocting, he himself didn't dare to say that he had surpassed Yang Chen. Zhu Chentao was sincerely observing everything, afraid to miss anything. As for Holin, who was originally Yang Chen's servant, regardless of her cultivation, she had good control of fire when concocting pills, but it was still inferior to Yang Chen. Since Yang Chen had guided her for so long, she naturally knew good from bad and always waited upon her master and Yang Chen attentively, not daring to be distracted for a moment. The hard questioning pill required more than 10 types of 10,000 years matured herbs, all of which were present in that valley. When Yang Chen took out those freshly plucked herbs, Zhu Chentao became ecstatic. Although being a pill concocting master meant that he had many chances to personally see 10,000 years matured legendary herbs, who takes out a pile of them? While Yang Chen was preparing, Zhu Chentao spared no effort to teach Holin about the grade of this batch of herbs, while simultaneously holding these precious herbs in his own hands. Yang Chen first used the geocentric fire to refine all the herbs. The amount of spirit power in the 10,000 years matured herbs was enough to astonish anyone. Not to mention other things, under the influence of this pile of medicinal power, even the color of profound spirit furnace was changed, from dilute cyan color to slightly greenish. This was indeed quite mystical. After some time, Holin was unable to endure the thick overflowing spirit power and had to move far away, only then did the feeling blood and spirit power rolling around in her body ease out. When beginning the refining, Yang Chen's fire controlling technique once again astonished Zhu Chentao. He kept on attentively observing the flame within profound spirit furnace without any movement. This time, Yang Chen was using techniques to control fire as earth and control fire as water. Since the heart questioning pill paid particular attention calming the heart of a person like a river, just flowing on its path, without receiving the onslaught of outer devils, so naturally, among the 5 phases, the most peaceful ones of earth and water were the most suitable. However, although it was a dual refining of earth and water, the origin was still fire. At the lowest strata of profound spirit furnace was a flame sealed like a piece of earth, formed together by geocentric fire and cold ice fire. After experiencing the refining of geocentric fire, the medicinal liquid spread on top of this foundation and began to flow around slowly like recently melted magma. Using the profound wood fire, he transformed it into a miniature bodhi tree. After penetrating the medicinal liquid, it took roots in the foundation beneath the medicinal liquid that was formed with the combination of geocentric fire and cold ice fire. The portion of medicinal liquid approaching this tree slowly began to boil, and the heat was then spread to all portions little by little. The best condition for meditation and cultivation was under a bodhi tree. Under this tree, anyone could safely enter a meditative state while calming their heart. The bodhi tree formed of profound wood fire also used the idea of mediation and fused with the heart questioning pill, perfectly harmonizing with its medicinal properties. Naturally, for the bodhi tree formed of profound wood fire to achieve these kinds of results, the most crucial point was the tiny flame strands of the profound wood fire, engraved minute spirit storing spell formations in the medicinal liquid of the elixir while boiling it. This made it so that every infinitesimal drop of this medicinal liquid contained a minute spirit storing spell formation, which was the main reason for this effect. Also, at any point in time, the profound wood fire could only boil a small portion of the medicinal liquid that was surrounding the tree and wouldn't pass the heat to the entire medicinal liquid. To achieve with this, Yang Chen's precise control over fire was required. Bit by bit, the medicinal liquid that was flowing over the foundation made of 2 flames was moved around once to undergo the baptism of profound wood fire. Thus this process required the majority of the 2 years. The heart questioning pill allowed a person to not bow down to their devils, precisely because of bodhi meditation. Moreover, the coldness of cold ice fire would allow that person to always remain sober. This was the cause of always pointing towards their heart. Naturally, the cold ice flame has its uses and also allowed the minute flame strands to form spell formations. However, just relying on the spell formations wasn't sufficient to perform the heart questioning pill's function. The genuine reason for its effectiveness was still the medicinal power of those 10,000 years matured herbs that assist and complement each other. Otherwise, even these dashing experts could just set up the spell formations, then wouldn't it be easy for them to refine the heart-questioning pills? In the end, the most basic requirement was an enormous and continuous supply of spirit power which doesn't go berserk. The fusion of these factors makes the heart-questioning pill deserve its reputation. Because Yang Chen had absorbed the cold ice fire and profound wood fire last time, he had great confidence in refining this heart-questioning pill. Even Zhu Chentao, who had been watching from start to finish, realized that it was not so easy. Leaving aside the fact that searching for materials was difficult, just this high-grade fire-controlling technique was something which he can't reproduce. During the whole process, Zhu Chentao only kept on gasping with excitement. Yang Chen's current level of flame control left him completely speechless and unable to find words to describe his praise. Now, Zhu Chentao and Holin were convinced that as long as they cultivate the Tao of flame control as Yang Chen had taught them, the road ahead of them could lead them far into the future. Thus, Zhu Chentao wouldn't ever have the feeling of an impassable gap as he had at the peak of Jidan's stage. 1 year's time was needed to lay down sufficient spell formations within the medicinal liquid, while the remaining time was required by Yang Chen to complete the final refining of the heart-questioning pill. The most surprising thing was, at the final juncture, Yang Chen didn't use any high-grade flame, rather, one of the first-grade flames that he had collected this time. Although the low-key and underrated flame didn't cause any great waves in the final step, it was able to maintain a high temperature from beginning to end. Initially, Yang Chen used to believe that he would have to use the green phosphorus fire at this step. But now, since he had many low-grade flames, some of them were even more suitable and increased the success of elixir. Finally, after 10 months, Yang Chen began the final step of pill collecting. Zhu Chentao was barely able to make bits and pieces of the dazzling pill concocting technique, while Holin's vision was completely sunk into a fog, unable to make out anything of the technique used by Yang Chen. However, at this crucial time, no one dared to disturb Yang Chen. Both of them cautiously observed Yang Chen, waiting until Yang Chen had completed the final step and extinguished the flame. Suddenly, a beam of dense dazzling light appeared from the profound spirit furnace. The beam broke through the roof and directly soared outside. The underground spirit vein of second Fierce Yang courtyard seemed to be suddenly attracted by something and began to crazily concentrate at the side of this profound spirit furnace. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 215 Handling with the Heart-Questioning Pill. A huge disturbance alarmed everyone in the Miking Mountain. The beam of light was 50 kilometers tall and could be seen clearly within a radius of 500 kilometers. The fluctuation of spirit power was extremely fierce, everyone was thinking what kind of suppressed power had been released that it needed such an enormous amount of spirit power, which was calmly moving towards the region from where the light appeared. The people of second Fierce Yang courtyard had already sensed these fluctuations long ago, even from the hall where Palace Master lived, more than 10 silhouettes could be seen flying in the air towards here. In a short period of time, Palace Master Zhang Jiao and other elders had already flown over to the second Fierce Yang courtyard. The beam of light didn't scatter and was extremely eye-catching within the night sky. All the experts present on the scene could sense the calm movement of a huge amount of spirit power, but no one made any movement. Everyone knew that the refining of heart-questioning pills had reached the final stage. Whether it succeeded or failed wasn't clear yet, but just the fact that this elixir could attract the calm spirit power and absorb it illustrated the fearsomeness of this pill. This heart-questioning pill indeed deserved its reputation. These circumstances lasted for 2 whole hours, only then did the pillar of light start to flicker and slowly disappear. The spirit power in the second Fierce Yang courtyard had finally returned to normal. Immediately afterwards, everyone heard the laughter of Yang Chen, Zhu Chentao and Holin. Palace Master and others waiting outside finally relaxed, seemingly, the refining of heart-questioning pills had succeeded. Now, the only question was the number of pills refined in this batch. Hearing the sound of activity, Yang Chen knew that he had disturbed many people, so he didn't stay in the pill concocting room and quickly came out together with Zhu Chentao and Holin. Seeing Palace Master Zhang Jiao, all 3 of them immediately saluted. Palace Master also faintly smiled and returned the greeting, then he immediately stopped Zhu Chentao, who was trying to say something, and led all of them to the official business hall of the second Fierce Yang courtyard, together with the elders. After properly setting up restrictions, Palace Master Zhang Jiao asked. So how many pills were refined in this batch? Actually, not only Palace Master, even the other elders also wanted to know the answer to this question, but seeing the large number of people in the surrounding, they didn't ask. This was also the reason for stopping Zhu Chentao from speaking at that time. Disciple hasn't broken your trust, this time 15 pills had been refined. Yang Chen answered with a smile. On the other side, Zhu Chentao was also nodding continuously. Hearing that there were 15 pills, everyone immediately relaxed. As long as it was more than 10 pills, then according to the original plan, they could invite 5 Daching stage experts. With this, they would have much greater assurance in dealing with 100,000 mountains. During the 2 years when Yang Chen was refining, whether it was because they felt fear after Yang Chen had killed a Yuning stage expert or because they were busy with dealing with the issue of a large number of disciples of various sects that had gone missing in the 100,000 mountains in the past, which was being secretly pushed by Pyongyang Palace. The power behind the 100,000 mountains didn't take any big action towards Pyongyang Palace. But these heart-questioning pills, the discussed plan with a few other sects, could move to the next stage. However, a fact that everyone suspected was whether this heart-questioning pill really had the effect which Yang Chen said it had. The promise of giving 2 heart-questioning pills to every Daching stage expert was because of this consideration. With the first pill, they could verify the efficacy of the heart-questioning pill. For those Daching stage experts, a rumor would be eternally unequal to a fact which they had personally verified. All of this was Palace Master Zhang Jiao's responsibility, so those 10 heart-questioning pills were handed over to Palace Master in a jade bottle. But everyone's gaze was still on Yang Chen, as if desiring to know what he intended to do with those 5 leftover heart-questioning pills. It couldn't be helped since Yang Chen's description had really tempted everyone, moreover, the majority of the elders had been at Yuning stage for too long, the appearance of the heart-questioning pill brought a new hope for everyone. How could Yang Chen not realize what all the elders were thinking about, he faintly laughed. The ingredients this time were only sufficient for 1 batch of heart-questioning pill, moreover, all the elders don't need it for the time being. Elders, please wait for a few decades, then if any of the elders senses the bottleneck to the Daching stage, disciple would refine another batch to help you break through. These words were indeed most fitting for the situation, the group of elder became extremely excited. But Yang Chen immediately continued. However, the materials to refine this pill are extremely precious, so elders, someone breaking through from Jidan stage to Yuning stage, mustn't be allowed to use a heart-questioning pill, don't you all agree? What kind of question was this? The heart-questioning pill was so precious that using it to break through from Yuning stage to Daching stage was already like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut, who would be willing to waste it on Jidan stage bottleneck? Moreover, all the elders were already at Yuning stage, so they even went as far to point out that there was no need to waste heart-questioning pills on someone who can't even break through to Yuning stage by themselves. No one opposed this proposal, everyone silently nodded. Palace Master Zhang Jiao then asked. As for that batch of elixirs, do you intend to gift it to the sect? Yes. Yang Chen nodded. However, for the time being, the sect doesn't have anyone who needs to use them, moreover, disciples' cultivation is also insufficient, so many materials were wasted during refining. After 30 years, disciple will produce another batch, reckoning that at that time, even more pills would be produced. Although Yang Chen's refining skills were excellent, his cultivation restrained him. Everyone understood this point, in fact, if not for settling the issue with 100,000 Mountain completely, Yang Chen absolutely wouldn't have taken out the heart-questioning pill so easily. This is your property, since you are handing it over, how do you want the sect to reward you? After Yang Chen gave his promise, Palace Master was delighted and immediately asked about the matter of rewards. Disciple doesn't need many things, I just have 2 requests. Yang Chen wasn't someone who selflessly contributed to the sect, that would only be possible if his master was the Palace Master. He immediately put forth his requests. First is that the sect continues to obtain flames for this disciple. Second is that if disciple takes fancy to something obtained from 100,000 mountains, disciple could have the priority of buying it at market price. These 2 requests weren't too difficult. For collecting flames, as long as the sect issues such a mission, it would be simple. As for the second request, it was slightly troublesome, after all, it was a joint operation with a few other sects, so they couldn't avoid thinking that rather than this, they could promise some other request to Yang Chen. However, compared to another batch of heart-questioning pills, these few requests were nothing. Yang Chen's purchase would be finite, moreover, he would be paying according to the market price, so it was not overbearing. Moreover, if even this was impossible, then there was no need for the Pyongyang Palace to be over 100,000 mountains. Good. Even without the consent of the elders, Palace Master nodded his head and agreed to Yang Chen's requests. It would only be a wonder if some elder didn't agree in face of such benefits. Although everyone had agreed to everything very quickly, all of them knew that Yang Chen's previous condition was basically meant to obstruct some people who had their gazes on the heart-questioning pill. When the Hallmaster of Luminous Moon Hall, Liang Shaming, had heard about the heart-questioning pill, he had immediately asked who had the ownership of the pill. Hearing that, everyone present understood what he was trying to do. But after Yang Chen and other elders had agreed that heart-questioning pill wouldn't be used on a Jidan stage disciple, Liang Shaming's plan to use the heart-questioning pill to cross the Jidan stage bottleneck was completely squashed. Even Palace Master sighed secretly. Yang Chen was good to everyone except the people of Luminous Moon Hall. Obviously, it also had to do something with the previous merit-transferring disciple Chu Heng. If Palace Master had known earlier that this would happen, then he wouldn't have let Chu Heng continue as the merit-transferring disciple during those days, then perhaps the present situation would have been different. Fortunately, no elder looked into this, even Liang Shoming's master, Lin Yunfeng, had also agreed without any fuss. If they had really got a heart-transferring pill for Liang Shaming to use, then probably even Lin Yunfeng wouldn't have been willing to let it go. An elixir which could assist daching experts to ascend to be wasted on a Jidan expert, that would indeed be equal to using sledgehammer to crack a nut. The group of elders quickly made themselves busy and went away feeling excited. Everyone could almost say that they now had ample confidence to break through and were filled with great urge to reach the daching stage. Their situation was the same as Wang Yong when he received the heaven-seizing pill. Self-confidence was an important factor in making one's cultivation advance by leaps and bounds. It was obvious that when the cultivation of these elders increased, their confidence would also swell. Moreover, after the matter of 100,000 mountains was over, Pure Yang Palace's influence would also have increased, which would also give a boost to everyone's confidence that Pure Yang Palace would become stronger and stronger. Naturally, the more resources there were, the faster the sect develops. Furthermore, as the sect's influence increases, the more resources it could dominate. This was a mutually beneficial process. Unknowingly, Yang Chen had already made the Pure Yang Palace walk on a path different from his previous life. After the elders had dispersed, Yang Chen requested to see the Palace Master alone. What surprised Palace Master was that Yang Chen had directly gifted him with a heart-questioning pill. Last time, Yang Chen had suggested for him to find a Tao companion, which would increase his cultivation speed, while at the same time also promote his cultivation realm. This time, he had even directly gifted him with a heart-questioning pill. Since the Palace Master had shown great consideration towards Yang Chen was delighted to gift him with a heart-questioning pill. Moreover, this time, apart from showing his filial respect to Palace Master, he still had one more matter to discuss, which was to tell him about how he was going to deal with the remaining heart-questioning pills. Although everyone had the assurance that Yang Chen would refine another batch after 30 years, it was guaranteed that some would be skeptical. Apart from this, Yang Chen knew that Liang Shaming would think of every possible method to obtain a heart-questioning pill from him, and he couldn't allow Liang Shaming to have his way. 5 heart-questioning pill, Yang Chen gifted one to Palace Master, among the remainder, one would be gifted to Wang Yong. These two people, one was the Palace Master of Pure Yang Palace and the other was Yang Chen's Great Master. Regardless of whatever was discussed, both of them deserved it. Moreover, there weren't many people who would dare to have any ideas on these people. As for the last 3 pills, Yang Chen had also made arrangements for them. This time, he would have to trouble Senior Black Tiger and Elder Hua Wanting, although they did owe Yang Chen a favor, when all was said and done, they would have to fight with daching experts, so it would not look good if they had to request for it themselves. One heart-questioning pill would express his gratitude, it was also a payment comparable to other daching experts, who were receiving a salary of 2 heart-questioning pill. As for the final one, it must naturally be given to Pure Yang Palace's own daching expert, Old Tree Demon Gi Shanyu. He was the main strength of the battle, moreover, Yang Chen had long ago promised to help him to ascend. One heart-questioning pill would make the Old Tree Demon's cultivation even more profound, which would also bring great benefits to Pure Yang Palace. Palace Master hadn't expected that Yang Chen would deal with them like this. Since they belonged to Yang Chen, then he could do whatever he wants with them. Besides, Yang Chen had already gifted him a pill. Among the ones left, Wang Yong and Old Tree Demon got one each, which would be beneficial to Pure Yang Palace. As for the other 2 pills, they were given to outsiders, but would allow the Pure Yang Palace to gain even more reputation. Why wouldn't the Palace Master feel satisfied? The reason why he had not mentioned this in front of the elders was because he feared that they may have some schemes and would try to obstruct him. But now, the Palace Master had nodded, so naturally, he would explain to the elders and Yang Chen wouldn't be accused of treasuring a jade ring. When to attack was not something which Yang Chen could decide. He could only deal with the things at hand while waiting for his sect to negotiate with the other sects, so he began to absorb and refine a mixture of those newly obtained flames. First and second grade flames did not produce any difficulty for the profound spirit furnace, as for Yang Chen himself, they weren't a problem. After laying a foundation with several flames, fusing these low-grade flames weren't too pressurizing. Presently, Yang Chen's situation was that his 4th fire attribute was powerful, while his 3rd fire attribute was weak. However, among these low-grade flames that were third fire attribute was more powerful than those of fourth fire attribute. So after completely absorbing these flames, this disequilibrium would be slightly transformed, tending towards equilibrium. However, due to the difference between third-grade flames of both attributes, the end result would still be the same, and fourth fire attribute would still remain more formidable compared to third fire attribute. Bao Yu was waiting upon Wang Yang, so Yang Chen didn't go and disturb her. After meeting with Old Treat Demon once, Yang Chen arranged the profound spirit furnace in the same room, which was broken through earlier by the beam of light from the furnace. He sat down on his obsidian jade mat and started the absorption and fusion process. Starting from first-grade flames, traces of different flames stably preserved within the profound spirit furnace began to come out and entered Yang Chen's body. Yang Chen began to use third fire spirit power and fourth fire spirit power, depending on the attribute of the flames, to refine and absorb them. The grade of flames wasn't very high, so Yang Chen didn't need a long time to fuse them. Within 10 days, all the first-grade flames had been fused together. With every fusion, Yang Chen's original flame strength improved, with his spirit power improving even more. Even after absorbing 50 flames, regardless of whether it was third fire spirit power or fourth fire spirit power, they were not able to reach the point of increasing his cultivation, they only transformed continuously. The real qualitative change happened after absorbing the 22nd grade flames. His third fire spirit power directly jumped up 2 layers, from the 5th layer of foundation stage to the 7th layer of foundation stage. Furthermore, his fourth fire spirit power also broke through the 7th layer and entered the 8th layer of foundation stage. The increase in the fire attribute spirit power also urged the increase in spirit power of other attributes. Originally, all the other spirit power except fire stopped at the 4th layer of foundation stage, but after experiencing this times change, all of them increased greatly and collectively entered the 5th layer of foundation stage. During the whole process, Yang Chen's entire cultivation base had increased by at least 1 layer. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 216 What a shame. Absorbing different flames didn't simply increase spirit power, the most important thing was that the yin and yang heaven burning flame, which Yang Chen wanted, required the fusion of a large number of yin and yang flames to complete it. The increase in spirit power was just an added benefit. The spirit sea was greatly transformed, each one of those flames appeared within the spirit sea. Since earth rouses fire, each and every one of the flames absorbed were embedded in the trunk of the Penglai divine wood. Looking from afar, they seemed like fruits growing on the Penglai divine wood. Although the area of the spirit sea hadn't increased much, his spirit awareness had crazily increased. Last time, Yang Chen's spiritual awareness had already reached the peak of initial Yuning stage, and now, it surpassed this limit and entered the ranks of mid-Yuning stage. It has to be said that the 3 purity secrets was indeed a heaven-defying secret art, only someone like the great Supreme Elder could take it out. Until now, Yang Chen's cultivation had only reached the 3rd layer of 3 purity secrets. The formidable effects of 3 purity secrets hadn't begun to show yet. Who knew when he cultivated it to the peak how formidable it would be? While Yang Chen was cultivating here, among many sects, few had gathered at a secret pavilion. Green Jade Immortal Islands and Clear Sky School being the prime examples. The Pure Yang Palace hadn't informed everyone about the sect's intention to strike at 100,000 Mountain publicly. Palace Master Zhang Jiao had secretly contacted the sect masters of these 2 sects and informed them about his intentions. While speaking about this, he also mentioned the heart-questioning pill refined by Yang Chen. Both these sects were not some small sect and had existed for long, so they didn't feel anything wrong with Pure Yang Palace's ambitions. But what astounded them most was the heart-questioning pill. The pill which prevents the outer devils from invading and clearing one's conscience for daching experts and would greatly increase their chances of ascension. What? How could a foundation stage youngster refine this type of pill? Heaven-seizing pill was also a similar pill which could assist people in passing the tribulation, but comparatively speaking, the heaven-seizing pill itself was quite formidable and has the ability to undergo tribulation. Its power was equivalent to receiving a portion or even majority of the heavenly tribulation in place of the person receiving the heavenly tribulation. Strictly speaking, this was relying on external support, which doesn't provide much help to the cultivation of the person that was undergoing the tribulation. But the heart-questioning pill was different, it allowed the person to keep their conscience clear and stops the invasion of external devils, thus increasing the mental fortitude of the person. Although it doesn't directly increase the spirit power cultivation of the user, if one's conscience during tribulation remains clear then, as long as the person has sufficient cultivation base, it was certainly something which would increase his overall realm. Does this kind of treasure really exist? Both of the sect masters didn't dare to believe it, but when the light beam from the second fierce Yang courtyard soared over 100 miles into the horizon and remained for a long time without dispersing, the information about this soon spread to Green Jade Immortal Islands and Clear Sky sect. Both these sects immediately realized that the Pure Yang Palace was refining some unique godly weapon or perhaps some legendary pill, otherwise, such mystical circumstances wouldn't have happened. After that, the Palace Master of Pure Yang Palace visited the two big sects again, but this time, he brought the heart-questioning pill together with him. He even generously promised that if the daching experts of both sects helped them in the campaign, then every one of them would receive 2 heart-questioning pills. Naturally, no one would believe empty promises, but this time, the Palace Master also brought the real thing. Moreover, what made this deal even more irrefutable was the fact that he even allowed 2 daching experts, one from each sect, to personally test the medicinal strength of the heart-questioning pill. No one believed that the Palace Master of Pure Yang Palace would personally poison the experts of other sects in their own territories, therefore, both sects delightedly accepted the proposal to test this pill. Even more interesting was that the experts which both sects sent ahead were both acquaintances of Yang Chen. The Green Jade Immortal Islands was represented by Elder Min Huifeng, who had taken the lead during the great calamity of devil cultivation, while the Clear Sky School had sent Sun Kingsu's master, Elder Hua Wanting. Under the gazes of some core elders of Green Jade Immortal Islands, Elder Min Huifeng somewhat suspiciously took the heart-questioning pill. Including the Palace Master of Pure Yang Palace, all the experts present on the scene were tensely watching Elder Min Huifeng, fearing if she has made some mistake. Zhanxian's Dao companion refined this. After taking the heart-questioning pill, there wasn't any great reaction, Min Huifeng faintly smiled. She didn't show any kind of censure towards Yang Chen, who had refined the pill, seemingly, she was very satisfied since Yang Chen had taken a trip together with Zhanxian. Last time, after they went on the trip together, their chemistry seemed perfect, when should we settle their matter? After hearing these words, the people in the surroundings seemed to be slightly disappointed, while at the same time feeling slightly relieved. Although this heart-questioning pill didn't have any effect as Yang Chen had said, at least it wasn't poisonous, Min Huifeng didn't seem to be suffering from any injuries. Just when everyone thought this affair was over, suddenly Min Huifeng loudly shouted. "How can this be?" After that, she didn't say anything and immediately sat down on the ground in lotus position and entered meditative state. The people in the surroundings looked at each other in dismay, unaware of what had happened. Only one thing was certain, that Min Huifeng hadn't suffered any injuries, rather was just cultivating normally. What is happening? After Min Huifeng entered into meditation, the Island Master of Green Jade Immortal Islands turned towards Palace Master of Pure Yang Palace and asked. The pitiful Palace Master didn't know what would happen after consuming the heart-questioning pill. Although he already had one pill gifted to him by Yang Chen, his current cultivation wasn't sufficient, so how could he waste it? So facing the Island Master's question, he shook his head with a puzzled expression, indicating that he also wasn't clear. At this moment, all the elders of Green Jade Immortal Islands became slightly resentful. This was clearly the effect of the elixir given by Pure Yang Palace to the daching expert of their Green Jade Immortal Islands to test. Pure Yang Palace themselves haven't eaten it once, but surprisingly, they still took it out. If not for Elder Min Huifeng being in meditation during this whole time without any abnormality, then maybe, some angry words would have come from all these elders. Beads of cold sweat appeared on the forehead of Palace Master, he also started blaming Yang Chen. Since he had told him about the effects of the elixir, then he should have also told him about the working of the elixir and what would happen after taking it. Yang Chen was indeed at fault. But Palace Master also couldn't help but have a few expectations within his heart. If the heart-questioning pill really works as Yang Chen had said, then how would Elder Min Huifeng change? Elder Min Huifeng had now been cultivating for 6 months, which really frightened everyone. The Green Jade Immortal Islands sealed this particular guest residence to avoid any disturbance to Elder Min Huifeng, causing a lot of sects to inquire about what had happened to result in such an arrangement. The Palace Master could only stay there, silently waiting. If he had known that this would happen, then he would have made some preparations. Now, he could only rely on the people of Green Jade Immortal Islands to convey some information to Pure Yang Palace without any complaints. This was a matter related to Pure Yang Palace, so obviously, it was left to Zhanxian, who had already been appointed as Yang Chen's Dao companion. Unfortunately, during the time Zhanxian made a few trips to Pure Yang Palace, Yang Chen was always training in seclusion, so she couldn't meet Yang Chen, but during the few times she frequented Pure Yang Palace to communicate the message of Palace Master. It created a misunderstanding among all disciples of Pure Yang Palace that Palace Master had already given his consent to the relationship of Yang Chen and Zhanxian. Countless people were secretly envious of Yang Chen, the world-famous fairy Shai, although she always had a cold expression, she was indeed a beautiful woman. high cultivation base, famous background, who knows how many virtues had Yang Chen amassed in exchange for getting in the good graces of Fairy Shy. During these 6 months, the upper echelons of Pure Yang Palace and Green Jade Immortal Islands were waiting restlessly and yet expectantly. Then finally, one day, Elder Min suddenly took a deep breath and lightly groaned, stopping her cultivation. She slowly opened her eyes. The elders of Green Jade Immortal Islands were carefully guarding this area. When they saw Elder Min open her eyes, they were delighted and hastily sent the news to Island Master and Palace Master. Both of them rushed over here, but Elder Min seemed to not have awakened properly. She had not spoken anything yet. The group of people were nervously monitoring Elder Min's situation. They wanted to question her, but were afraid to agitate her. All of them were ready to speak, but kept on hesitating. If some outside saw the upper echelons of Green Jade Immortal Islands collectively knitting their brows in anxiousness, they would certainly think that the Green Jade Immortal Islands was facing some catastrophe. What a pity. Elder Min finally opened her mouth, but her first words alarmed Palace Master. Elder Min felt that just one word of regret was not enough, and she shook her head again and added in. Extremely unfortunate. Palace Master immediately became depressed. From the looks it seems like this heart-questioning pill doesn't have the effect which Yang Chen said it would have, otherwise, Elder Min won't have such extreme regret. Originally, he had thought that Elder Min suddenly cultivating and persisting for 6 months was because of this heart-questioning pill, but now, it seems that he was completely wrong. Perhaps, the hopes of Pure Yang Palace on 100,000 mountains would also be slowly quashed. This little disciple Yang Chen had really grown arrogant these days after curing Senior Black Tiger's injuries and refining some elixir used by Daching stage expert. Obviously, Palace Master also felt that he himself was also in the wrong to have complete confidence in Yang Chen after seeing his confidence and thus had made such mistake and gratuitously made a joke of himself in Green Jade Immortal Islands, especially after he himself had come to their sect boasting about it. While he was blaming himself, Elder Min Huifeng stood up and suddenly made a bow towards Palace Master. This action of his confused Palace Master so much that he forgot to return the greeting. This was a Daching expert, a senior, how could she bow towards a junior? Could it be? Formidable heart-questioning pill. After the salute, Elder Min sighed, feeling that it wasn't enough to express her regret, she again regretted. What a pity that I have taken the elixir too early. Uncle Master. The Island Master of Green Jade Immortal Islands was greatly surprised. Elder Min's sentence was clearly directed towards the effects of the heart-questioning pill. What a pity, I wasted such a good elixir. Elder Min sighed again and soon after, said to everyone. I have already broken through the mid-Daching stage. Bang, even if everyone present on scene had the cultivation and mental state of a Yuning stage elder, upon hearing Elder Min's words, they couldn't help but cry out in surprise. Hearing Elder Min's words, Palace Master was shocked to the core, unable to say anything. Elder Min's cultivation had been stuck at the mid-Daching stage for a long time, even the battle during the great calamity of devil cultivation wasn't of any help. But unexpectedly, under the effect of just one pill, within a short time of 6 months, she had broken through and entered the late Daching stage. This was the reason for the astonishment experienced by the elders of Green Jade Immortal Islands. The pill could allow Elder Min to break through the bottleneck of mid-Daching stage without any unique signs, this simply toppled all their knowledge. After taking the pill, I had unconsciously and single-mindedly concentrated on cultivation with all my attention, the spirit power of my entire body was moving around like a single thread and there were no external thoughts in my mind, so how could there be an appearance of some unusual occurrence? Elder Min herself had taken the elixir, so naturally, she realized this in greater detail and gave a fine explanation. Unfortunately, I had taken the elixir too early, otherwise, if I had taken it at the late stage bottleneck or perhaps before ascension, then my strength would have increased much more compared to right now. This explanation finally made everyone realize why Elder Min had felt so much regret after waking up. Using such a formidable elixir at the mid-Daching stage bottleneck was indeed great pity. Palace Master suddenly thought he was going to rely on this elixir to pass the Yin Fire tribulation, to enter the Daching stage, wasn't that even more wasteful? Naturally, this thought only came once to Palace Master's mind. Yang Chen had said that after 30 years, he would refine another batch. So although this heart-questioning pill was extremely precious to other sects, to Pure Yang Palace, it couldn't be considered as precious. Once he thought of this, his previous thoughts about scolding Yang Chen were thrown away in some unknown corner. Currently, his mind was only thinking about ways of exploiting this heart-questioning pill and negotiating its price with Green Jade Immortal Islands to get as many benefits as he could. Then, this time, all 3 Daching experts of my Green Jade Immortal Islands will join the campaign against 100,000 mountains. Seeing the formidable effects of heart-questioning pill, in addition to the lure of ample profits of 100,000 mountains, the Island Master of Green Jade Immortal Islands immediately nodded his head. As for how to coordinate and how to attack, we will have to depend on fellow Taoists to make the decision. These words clearly implied that the island master had given the authority to Pure Yang Palace. This was something which had never happened before, even Palace Master was only thinking that as long as Green Jade Immortal Islands supported Pure Yang Palace that would be enough, he hadn't expected that Pure Yang Palace would possess the initiative in this collaboration. But Green Jade Immortal Islands was delighted. The heart-questioning pill was formidable, even breaking through mid-datching stage was easy. If the Green Jade Immortal Islands obtains the remaining 5 pills, then not counting the 3 pills used by each datching expert during ascension, there would still be 2 pills remaining, sufficient for Green Jade Immortal Islands to gain 2 more datching experts. If any among the 3 current datching expert doesn't need a pill during ascension, that meant that they could gain 1 more datching expert. So even if all 3 datching experts of Green Jade Immortal Islands ascend, they would still be counted as a big sect. The relationship between Zhanxian and Yang Chen, this pill-concocting master with boundless prospects, must not be destroyed by anyone. If anyone dares to interfere with these two, they would be mortal enemies of Green Jade Immortal Islands. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 217 Another small shock. After the cooperation was smoothly negotiated with Green Jade Immortal Islands and it was time for Palace Master to go to Clear Sky Sect, his chest was puffed up far more compared to before. The same conditions, 1 datching expert get 2 heart-questioning pills, the same problem, they would be allowed to test the effects of pill first. Palace Master gave selective details about his experience at Green Jade Immortal Islands. The most important point was that after using heart-questioning pill, Elder Min broke through the bottleneck of the mid-datching stage and entered the late-datching stage within only 6 months. Even though Elder Min had consented to this fact, Palace Master had no choice but to oblige with the wishes of upper echelons of Clear Sky Sect and allow them to test the pill. The higher-ups of Clear Sky Sect didn't have any doubt regarding Palace Master's words. In reality, they had also received the information from Green Jade Immortal Islands that confirmed that Pure Yang Palace and Green Jade Immortal Islands have formed a collaboration, which clearly illustrated that Palace Master's words were completely true. However, even though Pure Yang Palace and Green Jade Immortal Islands had confirmed that the benefits of the heart-questioning pill were great, the Clear Sky Sect certainly could not accept it so easily without testing once. At least after someone from Clear Sky Sect had personally tested the effects, then it would provide an authentic proof that the heart-questioning pill's medicinal effects were genuine. It hadn't been long since Elder Hua Wanting had come out of seclusion and was guiding her outstanding disciple Sun Qingxu. Moreover, as it turned out, she was the only one among the few datching experts of the sect who wasn't in seclusion. Naturally, Palace Master wouldn't want to lightly disturb the seclusion of datching experts of another sect, so the burden of testing the pill fell onto Hua Wanting's head. But the experience at Green Jade Immortal Islands, this time Palace Master had made proper arrangements. Not only had he brought 1 elder together with him, he had also gotten 2 Jidan stage disciples to act as messengers. Before Hua Wanting took the pill, Palace Master properly consulted with Clear Sky Sect that he would return to Pure Yang Palace during the time that she was cultivating after taking the pill and would leave that elder behind at Clear Sky Sect who would be responsible for maintaining contact. However, even if he was sufficiently prepared, Elder Hua Wanting's reaction after taking the pill was completely different from Elder Min Huifeng, which alarmed the Palace Master. Elder Min Huifeng had immediately sat down to cultivate, but Elder Hua Wanting's situation was completely different from that calm cultivation, rather, her appearance was one that was insisting on battle. Even though she didn't make any movements, everyone in the surrounding felt a dense battle intent which left them baffled. If Yang Chen was here, then he would have realized that it was because their experiences were completely different, so naturally, their situation would also be different. Before reaching datching stage, Elder Hua Wanting had been battling with the blood phantom vine continuously for 100 years. This situation lasted a whole century, which resulted in the circumstances where Elder Hua Wanting would have the highest concentration and remove all external thoughts during a battle. Because of this reason, her current appearance wasn't that surprising. Because Elder Hua Wanting's situation was different, Palace Master didn't have any option other than to stay there for several more days to observe the situation before leaving. Therefore, as the pill-concocting master who had refined the heart-questioning pill, Yang Chen automatically became the conversation topic of both sides. Your sect's disciple Yang Chen has some relationships with the outstanding genius of my sect, Sun Qingxu. The Clear Sky sect master said in extremely casual tone. Sun Qingxu wants to be Tao companion with your sect's Yang Chen, can Palace Master help us accomplish it? This. Palace Master can't help but think to himself. Last time, Yang Chen had already discussed the matter of Sun Qingxu with him. Originally, he had believed that Sun Kingsu was only blowing hot air, but now, surprisingly, the sect master of Clear Sky sect had personally asked him, which made the situation completely different. To be honest, the Zhanxian stage disciple of Green Jade Immortal Islands, Zhanxian, also wants to become Yang Chen's Tao companion. After thinking about this, Palace Master didn't intend to beat around the bush and directly told his difficulty. So you see, this can't be done. What can't be done? The Clear Sky sect was a big sect, so they were more arrogant, unlike Pure Yang Palace who was more humble. The sect master aggressively said. Sun Kingsu has a full wood spirit root, her cultivation is also comparable to Yang Chen. Wood rouses fire, so their attributes are also compatible, unlike that girl Zhanxian who is metal attributed, which would just restrain him. Moreover, she had been cultivating for countless years, isn't the age difference between those two too big? Furthermore, my little shoe's nature is better than that girl Zhanxian, isn't it? Hearing the aggressive tone of Clear Sky sect master, Palace Master could only force a smile. Clear Sky sect master had spoken so confidently, which he couldn't match. Moreover, it seems that both these females have their hearts set on Yang Chen at the same time. In fact, the best outcome in this situation would be that Yang Chen accepts both of them. This would prevent further troubles. But unfortunately, Yang Chen was determined to even reject this type of heavenly matched Tao companions. It's a matter between disciples, it would be better if they resolve it themselves. Having no alternative, Palace Master could only delay as he had done at Green Jade Immortal Islands. Yeah, that will be better, but Pure Yang Palace also shouldn't be biased towards one and discriminate against the other. The sect master of Clear Sky sect seemed to have been convinced easily, but his last line about being biased towards someone and discriminating against the other confused Palace Master. Last time, Yang Chen had gone on a trip for more than 1 year with that girl Zhanxian. Clear Sky sect master didn't beat around the bush and openly told. It is reported that this was a decision of both sect, my little shoe should also receive the same treatment, this shouldn't be a problem, right? Yes, well said, that won't be a problem. Palace Master quickly replied, however, he scolded Yang Chen in his heart again. Little bastard, two fairy-like women, both of whom were cultivation genius with full spirit roots, both of them want to be his Tao companion. But surprisingly, he was using all sorts of excuses and making things difficult for his Palace Master everywhere. After returning, he must have a proper chat with Yang Chen about this matter. Yang Chen was completely unaware that he had become the target of both sects. However, they were not fighting over his heart-questioning pill, rather, to make him marry into their sect. But fortunately, Yang Chen had been busy absorbing and fusing the flames after pill concocting, and since he was in seclusion, the Palace Master didn't want to disturb him. This time, Elder Hua Wanting's pill testing lasted for 1 whole year, double the time compared to Elder Min Huifeng. This caused everyone who had known Elder Min's cultivation time to become anxious. But fortunately, Elder Hua's breath was still stable, so no one panicked and calmly waited. After 1 year, Elder Hua Wanting finally finished her cultivation in a way similar to Elder Min. Coincidentally, her first words after completing the cultivation were completely identical to Elder Min. What a pity. After she sighed, everyone felt slightly depressed. No one had seen Elder Min's cultivation previously, the only one who had seen it was Palace Master, who wasn't present. So Elder Hua's words alarmed everyone. It really is good. Elder Hua Wanting didn't make everyone wait, and after sighing once, she quickly explained the result of her pill testing. Although my cultivation increased greatly, I still couldn't break through. If I had taken this pill at a bottleneck, then the results would have been even better. External devil can't invade one's conscience, this heart-questioning pill really deserves its name. While speaking, Elder Hua began to praise the effects of the heart-questioning pill. This was refined by Yang Chen. That little friend has some karma with me, so without any doubt, my little shoe must become his Tao companion. When the elder of Pure Yang Palace that was left behind heard that Sun Kingsu also wanted to become Yang Chen's Tao companion, he was stupefied. What kind of luck has this lucky bastard Yang Chen got? 2 exceptionally gifted and gorgeous women were fighting to become his Tao companion. Regardless of what was said, this time, the Clear Sky sect had also expressed rare sincerity in collaborating for the matter of both heart-questioning pills and 100,000 mountain. Moreover, not willing to fall behind Green Jade Immortal Islands, the Clear Sky sect also similar sent 3 daching experts to go to battle. Their other conditions were also similar to Green Jade Immortal Islands, they also gave the authority to command to Pure Yang Palace. The only difference was that Elder Hua Wanting was not included within the 3 daching experts sent by Clear Sky sect, she was considered to be additionally invited by Yang Chen, so her joining the campaign this time could be considered as repaying the favor she owed to Yang Chen, as well as to obtain a heart-questioning pill at the same time. Merely, how the Clear Sky sect distributed the heart-questioning pills of their quota was their sect's internal matter. Naturally, Elder Hua wanting required for Yang Chen to personally come and invite her. Even if she owed Yang Chen a favor, doing this would be proper etiquette. Regardless of what was said, after Elder Hua and Elder Min had tested the pill, all the elders of Clear Sky Sect and Green Jade Immortal Islands were astonished by the formidable efficacy of the heart-questioning pill, while at the same time, feeling more expectant. For the time being, the people who knew about heart-questioning pill were few, including the few elders and hallmaster of Pure Yang Palace, Clear Sky Sect's upper echelons, as well as higher-ups of Green Jade Immortal Islands. However, this didn't hinder their yearning towards the heart-questioning pill. Since the upper echelons of both Clear Sky Sect and Green Jade Immortal Islands had personally seen the effects of heart-questioning pill, they attached even more value to it compared to everyone from Pure Yang Palace. In any case, apart from Palace Master and that elder, the others in Pure Yang Palace didn't know the formidable effect of the heart-questioning pill, and since both of them had maintained their silence for the time being, everyone still had some doubts towards it. The pill that could allow daching experts to break through, this was a heaven-shattering effect. After discussing the details of their cooperation with Palace Master, both these big sect immediately began to question about the details of refining this heart-questioning pill. As for the complete pill recipe and refining technique, even if Palace Master wanted to tell them, it was impossible as only Yang Chen had those details. Only, Yang Chen hadn't concealed the ingredients required in refining and generously informed Palace Master. The Palace Master also didn't hide it from their allies and similarly informed the people of these two big sects about the ingredients. All daching experts have exceptional knowledge and could identify what's in the elixir and what's not, so they could basically confirm a portion of the herbs. Among the ingredients told by Palace Master, Elder Hua and Elder Min both had faintly detected the flavor of few materials. Only, how these materials were refined that they attained the effect of heart-questioning pill was something they couldn't understand. It was probably due to a unique refining technique. Because the ingredients were rare, there weren't many pills refined this time. To ensure that their campaign against 100,000 Mountain succeeds, the Pure Yang Palace had taken out all the heart-questioning pill to invite experts. There were no pills remaining in the sect. However, Palace Master had generously declared to the allies that as long as they could get the ingredients, Yang Chen would absolutely refine them some pills for a price. As for the price, that could be discussed with Yang Chen when the time comes. Maybe, at that time, Yang Chen would have become Dao companion with Zhanxian and Sun Qingxu, and maybe he would refine the pills without any charge. Maybe Zhanxian and Sun Qingxu had their own different reasons to become Yang Chen's Dao companions, but now, just this heart-questioning pill was sufficient to make sure that these two big sects spared no efforts to facilitate that their sect's disciple was connected to Pure Yang Palace by marriage. Even the current mortal world's #1 pill concocting master Deng Yi couldn't compare to such a formidable pill concocting master. If Yang Chen's cultivation hadn't been low, then maybe he would have already taken the throne for the #1 pill concocting master from Deng Yi. Both big sects felt boundless jealousy towards Pure Yang Palace for obtaining a treasure like Yang Chen. Especially Green Jade Immortal Islands, they felt great sorrow. Previously, before Yang Chen had started cultivating, their disciple Zhanxian had already met with Yang Chen. Moreover, she had also gifted him a body refining pill. How could they have missed the chance to recruit him into their sect? Yang Chen was completely oblivious to the fact that he had gained the attention of upper echelons of these two big sects. According to his plan, after smoothly observing the flames and improving his cultivation, he ended his seclusion. The first thing that Yang Chen did after coming out of seclusion wasn't to go and meet Palace Master, but rather, to go see his master, Gao Yu. For a long time, he hadn't seen his master and didn't know how she was doing. Yang Chen was delighted at the fact that not only Gao Yu, but his great master Wang Yong had also finally come out of seclusion. Presently, Gao Yu was already at the peak of initial foundation stage in water-attributed cultivation, just on the verge of breaking through to mid-foundation stage. Her cultivation was so fast that even she herself didn't dare to believe it. With this speed, Gao Yu was already comparable to a heavenly talent who has full water-attributed spirit root. This placed Gao Yu at a loss. Equally confused was Wang Yong. In any case, he was unable to understand for what reason his disciple, who has a fire spirit root, could cultivate water-attributed cultivation methods so quickly. He knew that Yang Chen had urged her, but he hadn't told them the reason, and Wang Yong also hadn't asked him, since he knew that Yang Chen would never hurt Gao Yu in any way, no matter what. Wang Yang's main target during closed-door training was to refine the Killin's horn. When Yang Chen was refining the Black Tiger suppressing pill, Wang Yong had already entered seclusion. From that day to now, 20 years had already passed. It must be known that Wang Yong was at the peak of Yuning's stage. His talent in cultivation was at least 100-fold higher compared to Yang Chen. Within short 20 years, he had completely refined the Killin's horn to make his destined flying sword. After his destined flying sword was completed, the only thing left was to dip and refine it in his spirit sea over several years. This was a lifetime process, so it doesn't require him to remain in seclusion. After coming out of seclusion, Wang Yong heard everything about Yang Chen's grand plan and the matter of the heart-questioning pill. After hearing everything from the palace master, Wang Yong also couldn't help but gasp. Since Gao Yu had accepted Yang Chen as her disciple, surprises continuously keep coming from his side. Did you find anything about that traitor? Feeling even more satisfied with Yang Chen, Wang Yong became even more anxious about his safety, and the first question he asked the palace master was about the information on the spy. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 218 Huge Trap. Facing Wang Yong's question, Palace Master knitted his brows before finally giving him an ambiguous reply. We have a suspect for the time being, but we still don't have any concrete evidence. Wang Yong creased his brows, clearly feeling dissatisfied. He was Palace Master's senior apprentice brother, so naturally, he could have this attitude towards Palace Master when they were alone. Palace Master also didn't tangle much with this question. During the investigation through the countless years, the law enforcement hall hadn't relaxed even a bit, but that traitor seemed to have sensed something and hadn't shown his presence. This matter of the 100,000 mountain was also another opportunity. At least with this opportunity, if the traitor knew about this, shouldn't he inform the greatest heaven sect? Next, the palace master introduced Yang Chen's grand plan for the 100,000 mountain in detail. While at the same time, the palace master also told Wang Yong about the heart-questioning pill. Particularly, he was extremely envious that Yang Chen had left a heart-questioning pill for Wang Yong. Although the palace master himself had one, Wang Yong hadn't done anything in these matters which would earn him the pill. Therefore, palace master couldn't help but feel envy. While Yang Chen was in seclusion absorbing the flames, Wang Yong felt great satisfaction upon hearing about how remarkable his grand disciple was. Once the information about the heart-questioning pill became public, then those doubts about the heaven-seizing pill would also disappear. All of these concerns were trifling matters. What really got Wang Yong excited was Yang Chen's grand plan. Swallowing the entire 100,000 mountain wasn't something that anyone in the Pure Yang Palace would dare to think about before Yang Chen came. When Gao Yu heard about all these topics from Wang Yong, she felt even more delighted. The main reason why Yang Chen intended to attack the 100,000 mountain was still because of Gao Yu. Compared to others, Gao Yu understood this point most clearly. Even though, these days, Gao Yu had endured and hadn't gone to see Yang Chen, but she still paid close attention to information about him every day. She waited for Yang Chen to come out of seclusion with great difficulty, and as expected, Yang Chen directly went to meet Wang Yong. Wang Yong was extremely excited and showed Yang Chen the killing horn destined flying sword Wang Yong had refined. He acted as though he was showing his own child. It had to be said that Wang Yong was an exceptional tool refining master. The sword completely adhered to the characteristics of the killing horn, with only slight transformations to the horn, which was used as the foundation by adding some materials. The blazing flying sword seemed to give a burning sensation when held in hand. Any enemy facing this sword would not be able to avoid the impression of being absolutely unable to escape annihilation under Wang Yong's hand. Under the crazy fire attribute, the killing intent of the ninth water attribute was completely concealed. Unexpectedly, Wang Yong hadn't wasted this attribute and as such, he proved himself to be an expert. In front of his great master, Yang Chen didn't hide his knowledge. Holding the killing flying sword in both hands, he closed his eyes and used his spiritual awareness to examine it. Within the spirit sea, a magnified killing sword quickly appeared. Great master, forgive the disciple for being impudent. After observing it for a good while, Yang Chen opened his eyes and first asked forgiveness from Wang Yong. Both Wang Yong and Gao Yu didn't understand what Yang Chen meant, however Wang Yong indicated that there was no harm in speaking his mind. The sharp end is completely perfect, but there are defects on the sword on the side, particularly here and here. Yang Chen pointed out 3 places. At these places, the supplemental materials haven't completely combined with the killing horn, allowing some ninth water spirit power to leak out, which isn't good. Additionally, hearing Yang Chen's words, Gao Yu's complexion turned unsightly and she immediately reprimanded him. Yang Chen. Wang Yong was Gao Yu's master, but this grand disciple, Yang Chen, was surprisingly being so impudent in front of him. Seeing that Gao Yu's wasn't happy, Yang Chen could only force a bitter smile and closed his mouth without saying another word. But unlike Gao Yu, Wang Yong didn't seem to be offended. Hearing Yang Chen's words, he held the flying sword in his hand and explored the 3 places where Yang Chen had mentioned using his spiritual awareness. The flying sword was his destined flying sword and was mentally linked to him, so he quickly discovered the trace of spirit power leaking out. If Yang Chen hadn't pointed the leak out, then just with his spiritual awareness, he wouldn't have been able to sense this little amount of spirit power. At this time, Wang Yong's expression transformed, he looked at Yang Chen as if seeing some monster. That burning gaze somewhat confused Gao Yu. Additionally what? Wang Yong hastily asked. Yang Chen had said additionally before he was interrupted by Gao Yu, so clearly there was some other problem as well. Master? Gao Yu anxiously protested and complained. If you continue spoiling him like this, then in the future he will be even more impudent. His words were correct. There were indeed some flaws in this flying sword. Wang Yong realized why Yang Chen asked for his forgiveness before. He handed the flying sword to Gao Yu, signaling her to carefully observe it. Gao Yu was also a tool refining expert, although she wasn't as formidable as Wang Yong, she could still be called a rare talent. Seeing this, she doubtfully took the flying sword and began to probe it carefully with her spiritual awareness. After Wang Yong had finished refining the sword and when Gao Yu had first checked it, she hadn't sensed any problems with it. But now, after she had focus on the particular places to find the flaws, it became much easier. However, even then, Gao Yu had to spend a long time and was only able to discover one place where spirit power was leaking. There was nothing that could be done about her abilities, as amongst the three of them, her spiritual awareness was the weakest. Moreover, this flying sword wasn't her destined flying sword. Likewise, she didn't have the ability to channel the flying sword within her spirit sea, so discovering any flaws wasn't easy for her. If it was someone else in her place, they wouldn't have been able to discover anything even if Yang Chen pointed out the flaws. This small leak which takes a long time to discover shouldn't be much of a problem, right? Gao Yu gently said. Although she discovered that Yang Chen's words were true, but Gao Yu didn't think this little leak would be such a big problem. It's not a big problem for the time being. Yang Chen smiled and shook his head. However, in the future, if Great Master continues refining and using this as a foundation, then these few regions can become weak points of this dual-attributed flying sword, which might be discovered by experts. Then, this secret weapon would cease to remain secret. His words were comparatively polite, in case Wang Yong's trump card was discovered by someone, that would be dangerous. Facing normal experts wouldn't be a problem, but in case he encountered someone who could discover these flaws, then the discovery would likely result in a hidden disaster. What else? Wang Yong repeated his question again and waited for Yang Chen's reply. The destined flying sword really doesn't need such a superfluous sword hilt. Yang Chen smiled and pointed towards that seemingly exquisite sword hilt. Great Master's characteristic isn't to hold the sword and attack, which is different from disciple. This sword hilt can affect the kill and horn's completeness. It is like drawing legs on a snake and is completely unnecessary. Instead, removing it would be better. In the last few years, I have sensed that this flying sword seems to be missing something. After saying this, Wang Yong suddenly laughed as if he had gained enlightenment. But now, I realize that this was because of this sword hilt. Indeed, it is completely unnecessary. Gao Yu didn't say anything anymore, this disciple Yang Chen seemed more and more mysterious in her eyes. When she heard that Yang Chen had refined a super elixir like the heart-questioning pill, she wasn't surprised. From the beginning, Yang Chen had appeared to her as an extremely formidable pill-concocting master. But how could he be so proficient in refining tools? Not only Gao Yu, even Wang Yong was also completely stunned. Although his shock was deeper than Gao Yu's, being a Pecuning stage expert, none of the surprise showed on his face like it did on Gao Yu's expression. But still, Wang Yong gasped in admiration in his heart. It seems like this grand disciple of his had many deeply concealed secrets. After refining something like the heart-questioning pill, Yang Chen even gave him such a big surprise. Regardless of whatever was said, regardless of whatever kind of monster Yang Chen was, he was still Wang Yong's own grand disciple and Gao Yu's disciple. The more outstanding he was, the more glory he would bring for Wang Yong. All the things Yang Chen mentioned were small worries, for the time being, there wasn't anyone in the mortal world who could realize these flaws, so mending these flaws later wouldn't create problems. Currently, the main priority should be the 100,000 mountains. Compared to anyone else, Wang Yong had a clearer understanding of the benefits his sect would obtain if they could succeed in capturing and holding the 100,000 mountains with the help of a few other sects. When that time came, Pure Yang Palace's strength would increase exponentially. Such a big matter should be treated as the most important and urgent matter. Naturally, the heart-questioning pill was also delivered to Wang Yong. Yang Chen didn't need to hide anything from his great master. Great Master, quickly consume this heart-questioning pill, your strength will increase greatly so that when the time comes for the main battle, you will be considered as another powerhouse. Furthermore, in the future, I will refine another batch of these pills, so don't feel anxious about using it now. When Wang Yong had first told Gao Yu about this heart-questioning pill, she had understood that it was a peerless elixir, but hadn't expected that Yang Chen would so lightly give one to Wang Yong. She was thinking of saying something, but suddenly she remembered the countless peeled fruits in her Qianqin pouch for everyday consumption. She seemed to have realized something and didn't say anything. The planning for capturing the 100,000 mountain had already been going on for 5 years. All the sects involved were properly coordinating with each other and were only waiting for the Pyongyang Palace to lead the attack. But before that, Yang Chen still had to make a trip to personally invite the people he knew. Senior Black Tiger of the Beast Taming Sect, Elder Hua Wanting of the Clear Sky Sect, both of them had to be personally invited by Yang Chen. This was necessary etiquette expected from a younger generation. While at the same time, Yang Chen's trip was also an opportunity to capture the traitor hidden in the sect. In fact, the whole matter of the 100,000 mountain was just a huge trap. When Yang Chen revealed his plans in front of all hallmasters and elders, he had already set the bait. After that, he immediately communicated with the palace master and hallmaster Meng Xian in secret. Speaking franking, Yang Chen already suspected someone in the upper echelons of his sect was the spy for the Greatest Heaven sect. As for whom he suspected, Hallmaster Liang Shaming of Luminous Moon Hall bore suspicion, which even both Palace Master and Meng Xian understood. However, when he mentioned his suspicion, it was too specific and both the Palace Master and Meng Xian could only force a smile. Pyongyang Palace certainly couldn't just punish a Hallmaster with just mere suspicion without any proof. The benefits of the 100,000 mountain campaign were indeed gigantic. Moreover, if they succeeded, then not only the Pyongyang Palace, but even the supporting sects like the Beast Taming Sect, the Clear Sky Sect and the Green Jade Immortal Islands would also benefit greatly. The Beast Taming Sect could still be tolerated, no matter how much it grew, they wouldn't be able to stand on equal footing with the Greatest Heaven sect, even with the conquest of the 100,000 mountains. Clear Sky Sect and Green Jade Immortal Islands were different. If they succeeded, then they would definitely be placed above the Greatest Heaven sect. Moreover, the benefit-based alliance of these two big sects would certainly cause a big headache for the Greatest Heaven sect. Previously, there was no important information which might cause the traitor to move, but this time, the influence and consequences of this affair were too great. If nothing happened, then that would clearly explain that the traitor was not among the upper echelons of the Pyongyang Palace. Moreover, if the Greatest Heaven sect wasn't stupid, then they wouldn't do anything which would set themselves against the alliance of the Clear Sky Sect, the Green Jade Immortal Islands, the Beast Taming Sect, and the Pyongyang Palace. The 100,000 mountains weren't like Desolate Valley which was already under someone's influence. This region was located on the boundary of Tao, Devil and Demon 3 powers. If it was captured by a Tao sect, then certainly that would be good news. Someone trying to destroy them from inside would be considered a traitor to all Tao sects. However, the Greatest Heaven sect wouldn't miss this opportunity. To regain their lost influence, there was only one way, and that was to attack Yang Chen. When Yang Chen was in seclusion, the Greatest Heaven sect couldn't do anything, but since he had stepped out, that precisely was the chance they were waiting for. Yang Chen had already committed to the higher-ups of the Pyongyang Palace that as long as the ingredients were available, he would again refine a batch of heart-questioning pill after 30 years. As long as they could obtain the heart-questioning pill and its recipe, then even if they lost the benefits of the 100,000 mountains, the Greatest Heaven sect with more experts would still be able to stand up as equals to those two sects. Presently, Yang Chen's cultivation base was only at the foundation stage, but he still could kill a Yuning stage expert. Even though his formidable magic weapon had played a big role in his victory, he had already become very difficult to deal with. If they waited for his cultivation to increase again and reach the Jidan stage before attacking, then it would become even more difficult to get rid of him. After all, with the increase in the master's cultivation, the strength of their magic weapons also increased. This fact was common sense. Therefore, they needed to deal with Yang Chen as soon as possible, the sooner the better. Even if they couldn't capture him alive, killing him was also another way. In any case, the people of the Greatest Heaven sect never thought Yang Chen as any good. It would be better to kill him. At least in the future, the Pyongyang Palace wouldn't have the chance to rise to power. Yang Chen himself was the bait and only needed to wait to see whether the people of Greatest Heaven sect bit or didn't bite. Naturally, all this was kept secret from Gao Yu as Yang Chen didn't want her to worry about him. As for Wang Yong, he also didn't have any clear idea in the beginning, but later, the palace master found a good opportunity and told him secretly. Only then did Wang Yong know that Yang Chen was taking such a risk. Later, Wang Yong secretly met with Yang Chen but didn't inform Gao Yu. "When you go, I am coming with you." Wang Yong didn't have any intention of debating his intentions with Yang Chen and directly gave his decision. "Don't try to make excuses, I know you have things like a medicine garden, so no one will know I am going with you." Yang Chen didn't try to refuse Wang Yong's decision. His master's strength was a little weak, but the great master was at the peak the Yuning stage. Together with his destined flying sword, even if he encountered a dashing expert, he had the strength to hold his own. So obviously, Yang Chen wouldn't reject the assistance of his great master and nodded his head. Naturally, another major character, the old tree demon Ge Shanyu, was also accompanying him. Until now, only a part of his body had appeared in front of everyone. Apart from Gao Yu and Yang Chen, no one knew where his main body was. When Yang Chen went out this time, Ge Shanyu's main body also moved into Domed Palace Hall. The strength of his main body was more formidable compared to the other portions. He himself could hold his own against 2 or 3 ordinary dashing experts. Wang Yong again disappeared before the eyes of everyone under the excuse of entering seclusion for a brief period. Everyone thought he had gone to cultivate, but hadn't anticipated that he was hidden in Yang Chen's domed palace hall and was accompanying Yang Chen on his trip. Yang Chen going out of the mountain meant that huge bait had been set. Now they only had to wait for the response of the greatest heaven sect and the 100,000 mountains. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 219 Main culprit hasn't appeared. Naturally, at this moment, Yang Chen a foundation stage disciple that was going to travel, but if he had to go alone, then that would really be excessively careless. Therefore, 2 people were appointed to accompany Yang Chen. One was Shikui and the other was Xia. The people of Eccentric Hall had pretty good relation with Yang Chen and everyone in the Pure Yang Palace understood their relationship. Therefore, after assigning 2 Yuning experts to follow after him, it seemed like the Pure Yang Palace was serious about protecting the heavenly talent who had the pill recipe of the heart-questioning pill. Old Tree Demon's main body didn't enter the domed palace hall from Yang Chen's room. Rather it entered after Yang Chen left the Pure Yang Palace mountain. He moved quickly and properly observed everything. What surprised Yang Chen was that even when his gaze swept over this area and he probed it with his spiritual awareness thread, he still didn't sense anything. When Ge Shanyu entered the domed palace hall, Wang Yong who was hidden inside didn't sense anything strange. Such a huge affair, in Yang Chen's view, was comparable to danger. Having Ge Shanyu with him made him feel much more secure. Yang Chen didn't use his flying shuttle and instead just took out an ordinary flying sword and began to ride on it towards the Clear Sky sect. The palace master had already told Yang Chen about Sun Kingsu. Having no option, Yang Chen could only find an opportunity and have a good discussion with her. On the journey from the sect to the exit on the mountain, they flew on their flying swords, allowing many people to see them. Yang Chen didn't care in the least, as he had wanted the people to see him. If he hadn't wanted to be seen, then why would he fly so openly? Travel time from there to the Clear Sky sect would take around 1 month if they flew slowly. Yang Chen didn't care about the time and calmly flew at normal speed. When more than 10 days had passed, nothing out of ordinary had happened. Yang Chen wasn't worried, as he knew that the greatest heaven sect had endured patiently for several hundred years to lay down their spell formation in the desolate valley. Perhaps the greatest heaven sect was only confirming something during those 10 days. When they neared the Clear Sky sect, Yang Chen didn't wait for the people of the greatest heaven sect to come out. Instead, he had expected the experts of the 100,000 mountains. Once the enemies showed themselves, Yang Chen immediately knew that they belonged to the 100,000 mountains. Since they had a devil cultivator and also a demon cultivator in their ranks, they certainly couldn't belong to the greatest heaven sect. Speaking of experts, they had only sent 2 Yuning experts and 3 Jidan experts. It could be assumed that since their Yuning expert went missing last time, without any warning, they had increased the number of Yuning experts this time just to be safe. They also couldn't do anything about it. Yang Chen also had 2 Yuning experts, Shikui and Xia, on his side, so unless the enemy also had 2 more Yuning experts, they simply couldn't resist him. The leftover 3 Jidan experts were probably sent to assist the 2 Yuning experts and capture Yang Chen. Last time, that person had disappeared at the Miking Mountain without any news, perhaps the people of the 100,000 mountain would also have searched for him for a long time. They certainly must have felt that he hadn't concealed his movement properly and disturbed the experts of the Pure Yang Palace and had thus been killed. This time, they seemed to have learned the lesson and kept following Yang Chen until he was far away from the Pure Yang Palace. Moreover, only when they didn't see anyone assisting Yang Chen and the others on his journey did they decide to act. Seize him. The expert who had appeared this time, unlike their last expert, didn't talk much. He immediately started moving as soon as he appeared, not leaving Yang Chen and others with him any time to prepare. Unfortunately, in front of all Tree Demon, these people couldn't hide themselves and didn't know that they had been discovered several days ago. At the instant the enemy attacked, Shikui and Xia, who had been enduring for long, immediately rushed towards them. Under Yang Chen's directions, Shikui and Xia had been refining their destined flying swords during the last 20 years, and they had also obtained little success. During these past 10 days, they had been enduring, just restraining their strength, worried that they might not get the chance to show their treasures, so the enemy attacking was exactly what they wanted. The enemy had been preparing for a long time. One Yuning expert together with one Jidan expert against Shikui, and the other Yuning expert and another Jidan expert to deal with Xia. The last Jidan expert rushed towards Yang Chen. The dazzling huge net, covering a perimeter of several tens of meters, dropped on Yang Chen's head. But the enemy using this huge net didn't have any killing intent and only wanted to capture Yang Chen. With the dropping of this net, a heaven-defying pressure pushed towards Yang Chen. This kind of pressure didn't worry or bother Yang Chen, and the people of the 100,000 Mountain weren't the ones he was waiting for. However, since they had come to seek him on their own, Yang Chen also wouldn't be polite. The huge net knocked off against a tangled tree and then suspended on top of it. In the next instant, this huge net returned back with even more frightening speed compared to when it had dropped down. The master of this huge net was completely stupefied and didn't know what had happened and was covered by the huge net. Yang Chen hadn't wanted to tangle with the people of the 100,000 Mountain. He didn't want to alert other enemies and had no option but to ask Old Tree Demon to make his move and quickly settle this. Wang Yong also wasn't willing to remain idle and couldn't wait to use the newly refined kill and flying sword. The Yuning expert battling with Xia was afraid of that his spirit power attack might injure Yang Chen and was somewhat restrained from the beginning. Suddenly, a red light flickered and with one thought from that Yuning expert, a piece of armor appeared in front of him stopping the red light. Gee. With a light sound, the red light directly pierced through that piece of armor and stabbed the opponent's chest. Soon, the red light reappeared from the enemy's back. With a blood-curdling scream, that Yuning expert fighting Xia fell from the sky. Seeing this, the Jidan stage demon beast was astonished and was about to flee. When Xia coldly snorted and released the pressure of a higher-grade demon beast, it caused the entire body of that demon beast to become weak. He didn't dare make any movements and curled up on the ground without moving. The grandeur of the red light hadn't waned and rushed towards the two experts battling Shikui. The Yuning stage cultivator fighting Shikui was a demon cultivator, seeing the red light, he didn't show anxiousness. His body trembled once and released a black smoke which instantly turned into black fog, which covered his entire body. When this black smoke touched the body of the assisting Jidan cultivator, a hissing sound could immediately be heard and his clothes instantly turned into rags. Clearly, this black smoke had corrosive properties. Shikui loudly laughed, his body flickered once and entered the black fog without any hesitation. Wang Yong's kill and sword rushed through the sky and pounced on the other Jidan expert. Gucci. Without giving him any time to respond, it directly stabbed through his body. In an instant, among the 5 opponents, 2 had already died and 2 others had been subdued. The only one left was the devil cultivator concealed in the black fog who was stubbornly resisting. However, Shikui didn't make everyone wait for long and within 5 breaths' time, a blood-curdling scream transmitted from the black fog. Soon, the black fog was dispersed by a strong wind. Shikui's snake-toothed daggers had pierced through his opponent's shoulders and the devil cultivator's body was hanging on those daggers and was carried out by Shikui. With the assistance of Old Tree Demon Gi Shanyu, no one within the surrounding 100 miles would discover what had happened here. 3 people were left alive, which was sufficient to obtain the information of the 100,000 Mountain's current situation. That demon beast who had been scared by Xia was trembling with fear under the pressure of Shikui and Xia. Before these 2 Yuning experts, he was curled up on the ground, answering every question asked without daring to hide even the slightest bit of information. Sometimes the workings of the demon beast's world was much simpler than human world. Just as Yang Chen had expected, the secret organization in the 100,000 Mountains was still thinking of capturing Yang Chen and was completely engrossed in their wishful thinking. They didn't have the slightest idea about the imminent danger heading their way. That was kind of expected since, although the Pyongyang Palace had been making arrangements for 5 years, they had been extremely careful. Other than the upper echelons, no one had any idea about this. Similarly, in other sects also had limited this information to the higher-ups without any leaks. The supporting sects also realized that this was a rare opportunity to control the 100,000 Mountains from behind the scenes and didn't want to destroy their chances recklessly. Even the person whom Yang Chen suspected to be the traitor didn't have any collusion with the 100,000 Mountains. So Yang Chen's information also hadn't been leaked. Yang Chen questioned him in detail, although it took a long time, it allowed the Pyongyang Palace to have a clearer understanding of the workings of the 100,000 Mountains. However, the knowledge he obtained would still not be enough. It was always better to be prepared. That person who was entrapped within the huge net was a rogue cultivator and had been staying at the 100,000 mountains for many years, so he knew how to take advantage of the situation. After he saw Wang Yong killing 2 people with his sword, he didn't have any idea of resisting and sincerely revealed everything he knew. Although these 2 Jidan cultivators couldn't tell much about secret information like the insider details of the 100,000 mountains, the backstage supporters, the relations of among crews and their strength, they did inform Yang Chen about the circumstances of Dao, devil and demon cultivators intermingling in the 100,000 mountains. This information could be considered as important since the Pure Yang Palace would have to supervise them one day. As for that demon cultivator, he had lost consciousness due to severe injuries. After some thinking, Yang Chen handed him over to Wang Yong, an old tree demon, to torment him in any way and obtain the information from him while also scooping out some precious treasures. The Qiankan pouches of the 2 dead people had already been swept up by Shikui and Xieshi. These 2 eccentrics had learned the importance of these resources and had therefore already begun to collect treasures. Naturally, they also had their portion among the things sold within Shangyuan Feng's shop, so presently these 2 could also be considered as wealthy. The old tree demon calmly threw out some small trees covered all traces of the battle, even the spirit power fluctuations had also been removed. As for these 2 Jidan stage cultivators, Yang Chen had thrown them into the domed palace hall after sealing their senses. Since they had cooperated, Yang Chen didn't want to make things difficult for them. After conquering the 100,000 mountain, he would require some people like these. The rest of the journey passed without any incident on their way to the Clear Sky sect. There were no signs of anyone ambushing them. To give face to the Clear Sky sect, Yang Chen also walked on foot and requested to see the Clear Sky sect's elder while wanting. Soon after requesting, Sun Qingxu's bouncing figure appeared in front of everyone. Since Shikui and Xie were also present, Sun Qingxu didn't show any intimacy with Yang Chen and saluted both the eccentrics following the proper etiquette. She then led all 3 of them to see Elder Hua. Although she didn't say anything, Yang Chen could see the happiness in Sun Qingxu's expression. This time, this junior has come to request senior's assistance. In front of Elder Hua wanting, Yang Chen again showed proper manners. The palace master had already clarified about the matter, so Elder Hua wanting knew about it clearly. However, Yang Chen had to make this trip to give face to Clear Sky sect and Elder Hua wanting. He also delivered the heart questioning pill which he had prepared long ago to Elder Hua. Even though she was a daching expert, but seeing the heart questioning pill, expressions of surprise appeared on her face. Originally, she had believed that after taking 1 pill, she wouldn't have the chance to take another. She had never expected that other than using the favor she owed, Yang Chen would surprisingly gift her another pill. Since she had personally experienced the effects of heart questioning pill, she couldn't help but be moved. Good, I agree. Elder Hua finally promised. Notify me when to attack. Many thanks, senior. Yang Chen loudly thanked her. No need to thank me, I had already promised long ago to help you once. Hua wanting didn't accept his gratitude and calmly said. After taking a look at Yang Chen once, suddenly a faint smile appeared on her face. Yang Chen, you are compatible with my little Shu, your attributes are also suitable for each other, you should become her Dao companion. It would be much better than becoming the Dao companion of that girl Zhanxian. Yang Chen hadn't expected that with her status, Elder Hua would say such a thing, causing him to choke on air and cough, putting him at a loss. Elder Hua also wasn't forceful and continued with a smile. It's a matter between you juniors, I cannot interfere. We elders forcing you is also not appropriate, I understand that sometimes forcing isn't the best way. I only want to let you know that you don't have to be afraid of the pressure from Green Jade Immortal Islands. You will receive support from Little Shu's side, but you also cannot be biased. Yes, senior. Yang Chen absolutely hadn't expected that a daching expert surprisingly would say this to him. At this moment, he also didn't know what to say. Even though he had been a Great Principle Golden Immortal, but didn't have the experience regarding such matter, so he simply agreed. Little Shu, you see off Yang Chen. Elder Hua instructed Sun Qingxu who was waiting upon them. A smile bloomed on her face and she led Yang Chen out of the guest hall of Elder Hua. From beginning to end, Yang Chen had only invited Elder Hua once, but hadn't talked about which matter. Sun Qingxu clearly didn't know about it and Elder Hua also hadn't said anything, so this could be regarded as a little secret between both of them. Sun Qingxu happily gave a tour of the Clear Sky sect to Yang Chen. This time, her behavior was completely different from the last time when she had met Yang Chen. She was confident, beautiful, brimming with enthusiasm, and fully reflected the title of a heavenly talent in the cultivation world. Furthermore, within the sect, no one dared to bully her anymore. This Sun Qingxu was identical to the snow dance fairy in Yang Chen's memories. Yang Chen felt extremely gratified in his heart while also distressing over the matter of Sun Qingsu and Zhanxian in his mind, but he couldn't find any solution over how to resolve it. Yang Chen didn't spend a long time at the Clear Sky sect and immediately hurried to the Beast Taming sect to meet Senior Black Tiger. Although Sun Qingsu was reluctant to part with him, she could only follow Yang Chen until his figure disappeared, gazing at him with a broken-hearted expression. During the journey to the Beast Taming sect, Yang Chen suddenly received some information from Old Tree Demon. On the way to Green Jade Immortal Islands, the Palace Master had suffered an accident. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 220 Trader finally shows his true nature. Palace Master together with another elder had been en route to pay a visit to the Green Jade Immortal Islands when they were attacked by some experts with unknown identities. 5 Yuaning and 1 Daching expert had attacked them. According to reason, this kind of formidable force was sufficient to kill both the Palace Master and the accompanying elder. But no one had expected that the result would be completely different. In fact, only Gi Shanyu hadn't known the identity of these people. Palace Master and the accompanying elder, both of them, had information about these people. Apart from that Daching expert, all the Yuaning experts were quite famous. Among them, 4 were famous rogue cultivators who had been missing for the past few years. The most shocking thing was that the last Yuaning expert was surprisingly Puryang Palace's elder Lin Yunfeng. When Palace Master discovered this, he was so shocked that he couldn't say anything. Originally, this ambush would indeed have succeeded, but what destroyed their plan was the appearance of the old tree demon Gi Shanyu. No one had expected that Gi Shanyu would be together with Palace Master. Only Yang Chen knew that the Gi Shanyu over there was only a clone of the old tree demon, his main body was still in Yang Chen's domed palace hall. However, even though it was just a clone, it was also a formidable Daching expert who had suppressed the Yin Fire Tribulation, so he couldn't help but feel contempt for these people. Yang Chen had already discussed this plan with the Palace Master long ago. Moreover, Yang Chen having asked the old tree demon to enter his domed palace hall outside Puryang Palace was precisely the illusion they wanted to present to others, showing that the old tree demon was traveling together with Yang Chen. Under this misconception, no one had expected his clone to appear. Inside the Puryang Palace, only Yang Chen, Gao Yu, Shikui and Xie knew about old tree demon's clone. Shikui and Xie hadn't said anything, and Yang Chen and Gao Yu also didn't reveal anything. Lin Yunfeng and his henchmen only saw the old tree demon leaving with Yang Chen, but hadn't imagined the clone of old tree demon would also be accompanying the Palace Master. During the great calamity of devil cultivation, following Yang Chen's suggestion, Gi Shanyu hadn't shown his complete strength and tried to gain many favors by saving people. But this didn't mean that the cultivation of the clone of old tree demon could be underestimated by others. Only Yang Chen knew that at that time, if old tree demon's clone had battled with full strength, then no other people would be needed to settle that matter. Even if Lin Cheng, who had died because of backlash from devil cultivation, and the other 2 Daching experts whom he had absorbed had joined together, then even they would have found it difficult to deal with old tree demon. Old tree demon had forcibly suppressed the Yin Fire Tribulation several times, so the profound strength he had accumulated even made Yang Chen, a Great Principle Golden Immortal, speechless. Moreover, the old tree demon's clone had another formidable characteristic which others didn't have. It wasn't afraid of dying. If the clone was dead, then the main body would only lose several hundred years worth of cultivation, so there wouldn't be any severe damage to the main body. Therefore, when needed, the old tree demon won't be miserly with his clone and could control it to detonate any time. The formidable power released by the self-detonation of a Daching expert was completely unfathomable. With the old tree demon's clone fighting without caring for his life, even the Daching expert who had tried to make a sneak attack earlier also was suppressed and had ran away after getting seriously injured. In fact, old tree demon knew about each and every movement of most people of Puryang Palace, like the back of his hand. After the old tree demon had passed the Yin Fire Tribulation, countless cassia saplings were born on the Myking Mountain. Everyone had believed that they were born because old tree demon had ascended his tribulation, but they didn't know that every one of these cassia trees was a part of his main body. The root system of these countless trees was merged together with the root system of the old tree demon's main body, although they weren't his clones, any activity in the surroundings didn't escape old tree demon's notice. Old tree demon clearly knew about all the major activities within the Myking Mountain. When Yang Chen had made this plan of catching the traitor with Palace Master, old tree demon was a major character. As long as anyone was inside the Myking Mountains, the old tree demon could find out what they are doing. During the several years when Yang Chen was concocting pills and had been cultivating in seclusion, the old tree demon had screened each and everyone in the Puryang Palace to check for any abnormality. What made Yang Chen happy was that apart from Luminous Moon Hall's Hallmaster Liang Shaming and his master Lin Yunfeng, together with few other disciples of Luminous Moon Hall, the behavior of others was completely normal without any abnormality. If it had been just for a day or two, then that wouldn't have proved anything, but this was the result of countless years of surveillance. Moreover, among the upper echelons, the behavior of Liang Shaming and Lin Yunfeng was the strangest. Yang Chen knew, Old Tree Demon also knew, it doesn't mean that the Palace Master also knew. Even if Palace Master would have heard this from Yang Chen and Old Tree Demon, then also he wouldn't have completely believed it. After all, the feud between Yang Chen and Liang Shaming was public knowledge within the whole Pure Yang Palace, so Yang Chen exposing this wasn't suitable. The best way was to allow them to discover it themselves. Moreover, the Palace Master going on a trip this time was also the perfect opportunity. In fact, in the past few years, every time the Palace Master went out, he would be accompanied by Old Tree Demon to guard against the unexpected. However, this was a secret which no one knew. Yang Chen had the medicine garden, so Palace Master, who was the sect leader, why won't he have anything like this? Yang Chen was very important, but his cultivation was low, making it easy to deal with him. But this also meant that everyone's attention would be concentrated on him, so on the contrary, he wouldn't be the best target to attack. Well, the Palace Master, who was a proud Yuning stage expert, usually went out on his own and was rarely accompanied by elders, so making him an easy target. But if the Palace Master met with an accident, that would be a huge affair. If Greatest Heaven Sect wanted to delay Pure Yang Palace's campaign on 100,000 Mountain, then, rather than colluding with the 100,000 Mountains, it would be better to use the internal strife within the Pure Yang Palace. Moreover, if the Palace Master met with an accident, then it would create large confusion which would delay the matter of 100,000 Mountains for a long time. Furthermore, if the Palace Master met with an accident, then the Pure Yang Palace would be like a dragon without its head. Then Lin Yunfeng would also have the opportunity as an elder to become the new Palace Master. With the support of Luminous Moon Hall's Hallmaster Liang Shaming and external support, if Lin Yunfeng became the Palace Master, then all the previous plans which Pure Yang Palace had made with Green Jade Immortal Islands and Clear Sky Sect would be thrown out of the window. Likewise, with Lin Yunfeng as in charge, it would make inclusion of the Greatest Heaven Sect quite easy. Perhaps because of this fact, Lin Yunfeng had attacked impatiently. Perhaps he had completely assured, or perhaps because he thought that if he also helped them, then they would have higher chance of victory. Lin Yunfeng had also come personally to see Palace Master die. Facing everyone's attack, Palace Master still couldn't dare to believe that it was surprisingly his own junior apprentice brother, Lin Yunfeng, that would collude with Greatest Heaven Sect to kill him. All the other rogue cultivators were certainly deployed by Greatest Heaven Sect secretly, including that mysterious daching expert. All of them were Greatest Heaven Sect's hidden strength. Old Tree Demon's formidable battle prowess left Palace Master gobsmacked. The Old Tree Demon staked his life in fighting with that daching expert and didn't hold back. He attacked without caring for his life. The daching stage expert's pressure erupted out from his body like a rainbow, and within a short time, the opponent coughed up blood and then unleashed a forbidden escape technique at the cost of his cultivation base and disappeared without any trace. The remaining 5 Yuning experts, including Lin Yunfeng, couldn't match the joint attack by the Old Tree Demon, Palace Master and that elder, and in a moment, only 3 corpses together and a seriously injured Lin Yunfeng were left behind. The last Yuning expert also coughed up blood and escaped using a forbidden technique. But the Palace Master was also heavily injured after being secretly attacked by that daching expert at the beginning of the ambush. The other elder was also injured, but compared to the Palace Master who had been the target of everyone's attack, his injuries weren't worth mentioning. Junior brother Lin. Palace Master still wasn't willing to believe that it was surprisingly his own junior brother, Lin Yunfeng, that had personally attacked him. Palace Master popped a healing elixir and before it could take effect, he directly arrived in front of injured Lin Yunfeng and angrily asked. What benefits had the Greatest Heaven Sect given you that you had turned traitor? What had they given to you that even the position of an elder wasn't enough? Greatest Heaven Sect. Hovering the injury on his stomach, the extremely weak Lin Yunfeng looked at Palace Master feeling ashamed of himself. But when he heard Palace Master's question, he couldn't help but reveal his surprise. I hadn't colluded with Greatest Heaven Sect. You still aren't willing to admit. Palace Master was already shaking due to anger, blood continuously flowed from the wound caused by the magic weapon of that daching expert, a bitter and hateful expression filled his face, all his organs were almost a mess. If you hadn't colluded with Greatest Heaven Sect, then what will explain the secret spell formation on the Sect Mountain? How would you explain the leaking of Shunkai pill given to new disciples? How would you explain the words of Cheng Wenkai who had been sent here to retrieve these things? Senior brother. Hearing the elder standing on the side couldn't bear to see this and immediately gave him a healing elixir. After all, they belonged to the same sect and had known each other for a long time. He didn't have the heart to see Lin Yunfeng suffer. However, it was clear that this elixir would only lessen his pain a little bit. His injuries were extremely serious. Other than some legendary herbs, which could get him to rise from deathbed, nothing else would work and he would certainly die. I only wanted to become sect leader. Lin Yunfeng explained in a stammering voice. I haven't colluded with greatest heaven sect. You really haven't. Alice Master also began to have doubts. Lin Yunfeng was on his deathbed and words of a man on his deathbed always came from heart. There isn't a great probability that he was lying. Could it be that he really hadn't colluded with greatest heaven sect? It must be Liang Shamming that traitor. Lin Yunfeng seemed to have thought of something and said with his face full of shame and pain. He incited me, saying greatest heaven sect would provide support. After hearing this explanation, the palace master finally understood everything. Everyone knew that Lin Yunfeng hadn't accepted the current palace master. Furthermore, with the benefits of 100,000 mountains in front of him, Lin Yunfeng was tempted. If he became palace master and could conquer the 100,000 mountains, then his name would certainly be written in most glorious words in the history of Puryang Palace. He had some ambitions, combined together with Liang Shaming's instigation and a guarantee from him that the greatest heaven sect would definitely support him. He believed that as long as he could deal with the current palace master, he would certainly obtain the position of palace master and would bring unprecedented glory to Puryang Palace, only then he decided to act. However, from the beginning, he only wanted to become the sect leader and also the sect leader who had brought great glory to the sect. He didn't have any intention of betraying the sect. But Liang Shaming was definitely suspicious. He even had secret dealing with greatest heaven sect. Moreover, he also supported the greatest heaven sect on all matters. Furthermore, this time, the involvement of a daching expert on the attack on Palace Master, it would only be a wonder if he didn't have any relation with the traitor. Otherwise, without sufficient benefits, who would dispatch a daching expert for someone whom they had no relation to? When the Puryang Palace had invited the few daching experts to join the campaign, not only did they have to use their personal favors, they also had to give the heart-questioning pill as compensation. Liang Shaming was a trifling Jidant stage expert. What kind of favors could he have done for daching experts? Neither could he provide anything useful for them, but still, the greatest heaven sect had sent a daching expert on his word. The only explanation of this would be that he had already sold out the Puryang Palace completely. At the apt timing, the old tree demon also made the report of unusual behavior of Liang Shaming and few other disciples of Luminous Moon Hall to the Palace Master. Hearing all this, Palace Master became certain that Liang Shaming was definitely that traitor. What didn't my sect provide him? Why did he become a traitor? The Palace Master couldn't restrain his anger and loudly shouted. As for Lin Yunfeng, he had lost a lot of blood and his injuries were also quite severe. He couldn't support himself to stand now and squeezed out his final words with great difficulty. Senior brother, I haven't colluded with greatest heaven sect. After saying this, his head crooked and he died. Return to the mountain. After this scandal, naturally it wouldn't be good to go to the Green Jade Immortal Islands. Palace Master loudly instructed in all of them and they returned back. With all the information, Liang Shaming certainly couldn't be allowed to flee. Bi Shanyu's clone had some secret link with his main body. Whatever the clone knew about, the main body would immediately become aware of it. Yang Chen and Wang Yong also heard about everything that had happened from Old Tree Demon. Apart from several elders, there was also Meng Xian at the sect. He had been keeping a close watch on Liang Shaming. This time, Liang Shaming couldn't escape. Thinking that he could get rid of Liang Shaming now, Yang Chen's also began to get excited. Liang Shaming, this person was the main culprit of his master's death in his previous life. If he hadn't betrayed the sect, then his master wouldn't have had to die. But now, surprisingly, he was already within a deep mess. Yang Chen wanted to immediately return to Puryang Palace and personally deal with Liang Shaming. However, his grand plan was also important, so Yang Chen had to go to invite Senior Black Tiger first. He used the clone of All Tree Demon over there to inform the Palace Master to leave Liang Shaming alive so that he would have plenty of opportunity in the future to make Liang Shaming ask for death but couldn't obtain it. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more.